Welcome to the fantasy audiobook, Transcendent Insight, From Green Snake to Eternal Dragon. Chapter 31, Xie Family, thank Tianmu for visiting. Suddenly, a clear and loud voice came out from the martial arts arena, instantly attracting everyone's attention. Especially Zhou Tien and Jo Yanlu. After hearing the word, Xie Family, the two of them were stunned for a moment. Then his complexion changed. Why, we're here after all. When Jo Yanlu heard this familiar voice, his eyes suddenly dimmed, and there was a look of helplessness in his eyes. Father, the child wants to solve this matter by himself. Holding his father's body, Zhou Tien stared at his father with determination in his eyes. Zhou Tien's words made Zhou Yanlu's heart tremble suddenly, and his body froze, as if he was shocked. Immediately, he raised his eyes and looked at Zhou Tien. At this moment, he saw the unyielding and determined look in Zhou Tien's eyes. Father, don't worry, your child has his own sense of proportion. Well, Zhou Yanlu looked at his son, his eyes filled with relief. The child has grown up and become sensible. He is no longer the weak child who only hid behind himself. Moreover, he also has his own pride. Not bad, very good. Good, thank you, brother, a distinguished guest is here. At this moment, Zhou Yanlu swept away the tired look on his face, and his whole person seemed to take on a new look, with a smile on his face. Shout loudly to the surroundings. People in the martial arts arena also heard the sudden sound. The Xie family, the family of the saint who was engaged to Zhou Tien. The crowd instantly became restless, and everyone looked towards the martial arts arena, their eyes full of anticipation. Could it be that Master Xie is here to discuss a marriage contract with us? The Zhou elders looked at each other and saw the excitement in each other's eyes. Xie Qingyao, that is the saint of Qingyan Holy Land. If the marriage between the Zhou family and the Xie family is truly successful, then with Xie Qingyao's identity, the Zhou family will definitely be able to rise again, not to mention reaching the sky in one step. Thinking of this, they became a little excited. Looking at Zhou Tien again, his eyes softened. If Zhou Tien really made a marriage contract with Xie Qingyao, their Zhou family would be very lucky. Let's go and meet Mr. Xie. Several elders couldn't wait to arrange for people to go to the martial arts field to receive Master Xie. Tiener, let's go, come with us to receive Mr. Xie. Looking at Zhou Tien again, he also called his name affectionately, with a kind face. Looking at the elders who suddenly changed their attitudes, Zhou Tien also showed a slightly sarcastic smile. 1 second, he cancelled all his cultivation resources, and the next second, he affectionately called him Tiener. This dramatic scene also made him feel extremely ironic. Father. Ignoring the elders, Zhou Tien also looked at Zhou Yanlu. At this moment, Zhou Tien only had a look of determination in his eyes. Let's go. Looking at his son's expression, Zhou Yanlu also patted his shoulder and smiled happily. With Zhou Tien's support, Zhou Yanlu also walked towards the living room. A group of elders and disciples followed closely behind Zhou Yanlu. They also wanted to see what kind of stunning beauty the Qingyan saint was. Is she as beautiful as the rumors say, captivating a country and making men all over the world obsessed with her? In the living room, after sweeping away the sloppy Qinglu, Xie Tianmu and Xie Qingyao were sitting there. A maid brought tea and fruits early, and the three of them tasted them leisurely. Xie Qingyao touched Zhang Lin's body with her hands, her expression indifferent. The cold touch came from Xie Qingyao's fingertips, making her feel an inexplicable calmness in her heart. Zhang Lin also lay on her hand, enjoying the touch from Xie Qingyao, looking extremely comfortable. I actually met the legendary protagonist of the divorce breakup genre. What a strange feeling, Zhang Lin thought with emotion in his heart. Not long ago, outside the living room, there was a sound of footsteps. Thank you, brother, long time no see. Before anyone arrives, the sound comes first. The sound was magnificent and deafening. Following the words, everyone in the Zhou family gathered around Zhou Yanlu and entered the living room. Brother Zhou, long time no see. After seeing Zhou Yanlu, Xie Tianmu also stood up, cupped his hands and said with a smile. After greeting each other, Zhou Yanlu also sat on the main seat and looked at Xie Qingyao. After he looked carefully, there was a hint of surprise in his eyes, and he praised, "This must be Qingyao's niece, what a beautiful girl." Not only that, even the elders of the Jo family looked at Xie Qingyao with astonishment on their faces. Not to mention the family disciples who gathered outside, stretching their necks and staring intently at Xie Qingyao. Everyone's eyes were gleaming with eyes full of obsession. So beautiful, this is Saint Qingyan. That's natural. This is a saint, but it's a pity. Yeah, it's a pity. That loser Zhou Tien is so lucky. In the crowd, whispers and discussions occurred one after another. They are all sighs and envy. Either he is jealous of Zhou Tien, or he is envious of Zhou Tien's good luck. Jo family, Jo Yanlu has met Holy Lord Qing. Then he looked at Saint Lord Qinglu Qing, who was sitting aside and had been motionless. Jo Yanlu recognized this person at a glance. This person's portrait has been circulated throughout the world. Immediately, he also stood up with everyone, saluted respectfully, and said respectfully, "This person is the true Holy Lord of the Holy Land, one of the most powerful people in the world. If it weren't for Xie Qingyao, I'm afraid they would never have the chance to see him in this life." Therefore, Jo Yanlu's attitude is also very respectful. After all, if you offend such a being, you will suffer a lot. No courtesy. Qing Lu waved his hand and said with a smile on his face, "Brother Xie, I don't know why you came to my Zhou family this time." Although Jo Yanlu knew in his heart that Xie Tianmu came with Xie Qingyao and Holy Lord Qing to break off the engagement, but there was still a trace of luck in his heart. Feeling a little uneasy and unsure, I asked, "Brother Zhou, I think you should know the purpose of coming today. We are here for the engagement of these two children." Xie Tianmu looked a little embarrassed and said, "Brother Zhou, you also know that Qingyao is a saint of the Holy Land, and she may want to take the imperial path and reach the sky in the future. We can't let her worry too much, and..." He didn't finish his words, but his meaning was already very obvious. This time, the atmosphere gradually solidified. The smiles on the faces of Jo Yanlu and others also froze. The atmosphere in the living room gradually became tense. The temperature seemed to have dropped to freezing point. A pair of eyes, also filled with endless anger, stared fiercely at the Xie family members. Why? Staring at the Xie family, Jo Yanlu sighed, feeling helpless in his heart. As early as when Zhou Tian's cultivation began to decline, he knew that this engagement was an unchangeable fact. Sooner or later the engagement will be annulled. He thought it would be a few years later, but he didn't expect it. I didn't expect that this day would come so quickly. Behind him, Zhou Tian listened to their conversation without any anger in his eyes. Very peaceful. Xie family master, isn't it kind of you to do this? The engagement between Tiener and your Xie Qingyao was made by the older generation. Isn't there something wrong with you breaking off the engagement so hastily? The head of the Zhou family, Jo Yanlu, had not yet spoken, but the elders of the Zhou family on the side were unwilling. With a dissatisfied expression on his face, he spoke directly and questioned Xie Tianmu. "Yes, Master Xie, how can you change the engagement without authorization?" Not only one elder, but also other senior members of the Zhou family also agreed. "Want to break off the engagement? Is it possible to withdraw from this marriage if you want to?" Just when their Zhou family has no one left, especially the Qingyan Holy Land, they are not going to abandon it, they must climb on it. Looking at the aggressive Zhou family executives, Xie Tianmu also frowned slightly. Although he had to be mentally prepared, Xie Tianmu was still a little annoyed when he looked at them. Regarding the attitude of the Zhou family, Qing Lu still sat there without even raising his head. It seems to be left to them to figure it out on their own. Xie Qingyao, on the other hand, frowned slightly and looked a little unhappy. "Brother Zhou, don't worry. After the engagement is broken off, our Xie family will also give you some compensation. What do you think?" Suppressing the unhappiness in his heart, Xie Tianmu remained silent for a moment, then looked at Jo Yanlu and asked, "Okay, I get it. But it's not necessary to compensate." Jo Yanlu pressed his hands and motioned to the elders to stop. "No." As soon as he finished speaking, a voice suddenly resounded. Everyone was attracted by the sound and turned to look, only to find that it was Zhou Tien who spoke. In an instant, the elder Zhou shouted angrily, "Shut up, it's not your turn to speak here." "Enough." Zhou Yanlu's face turned cold, he glanced at the elder and snorted coldly. Since he became seriously ill, these elders have become more and more unrestrained. There is a faint tendency not to take him as the head of the family seriously. Second elder, if you keep doing this, get out. Tiener, tell me. Ahem. He looked at the second elder of the Jo family coldly and shouted angrily, and then said to Jo Tien behind him. After saying that, he was filled with anger, and his chest heaved rapidly with anger. He kept coughing violently in his mouth. The second elder of the Jo family looked gloomy. He glanced at Xie Tianmu, then at Jo Yanlu, and finally snorted coldly and stopped talking. Father. Thank you, uncle. Jo Tien cupped his hands and said, this junior has agreed to break off the engagement. As he said that, he also glanced at Xie Qingyao. From the bottom of his heart, he couldn't help but sigh, it's so beautiful. More beautiful than anyone he had ever seen, more beautiful. It's a pity that the fate between the two is not here. This junior agreed to break off the engagement, but as you have seen, my father is seriously ill. It's been a long time, so I hope I can ask seniors to heal my father. This isn't too much to ask, right? With that said, Jo Tien glanced at Xie Qingyao and then at Xie Tianmu. Finally, he looked at Holy Lord Qinglucheng, bowed deeply and held his hands. His words were sincere, and his eyes were full of sincerity. Qinglu didn't speak, and Jo Tien didn't get up either. He was still bowing like that, waiting for his reply. Jo Tien's eyes were very sincere, even revealing a hint of pleading. Tiener, get up quickly. I know the extent of my father's injury. Seeing Jo Tien's posture, Jo Yanlu couldn't bear it and spoke quickly. Are you sure? If you ask, I can let you enter the Holy Land to practice, but are you sure you want to use this as compensation? After a long time, Qinglu finally spoke. Deep in his eyes, there was a hint of approval for Jo Tien. Don't be arrogant or impetuous, have a firm mentality, a firm mind, and not be afraid of the powerful. Master Jo, Master Xie, what do you think? What do you think of this request? Qinglu looked at Jo Tien, then at Xie Tianmu, and asked. No, this junior also asks the senior to take Tiener to the Holy Land to practice. Jo Yanlu refused directly. He knew that his injuries were hopeless and there was not much time left. Moreover, you must know that the cultivation resources in the Holy Land are extremely precious. If Tiener is allowed to enter the Holy Land to practice, he might have a chance to find the reason for his regression in cultivation. Even, one day, there may be a chance to become a peerless strong man. Therefore, facing this, he was unwilling to sacrifice Tiener's future for his disabled body. Look, your father doesn't agree. In this case, you can follow me to the Holy Land to practice. Qinglu glanced at Jo Tien and said calmly. Tiener, I also suggest that you go to the Holy Land to practice. What if you find a way to restore your cultivation? Xie Tianmu also tried to persuade him. He had also heard about Jo Yanlu's illness. The injury was already serious, and with so much time passed, I am afraid that time is really running out. Father, please stop talking. Senior, although this junior yearns to go to the Holy Land to practice, I still hope that senior can heal my father's injury. Jo Tien shook his head and said in a serious tone. He didn't care whether he could go to the Holy Land to practice, but his father was different. He doesn't want to lose his father. If he is not treated in time, I am afraid that his father's life will really be numbered. Moreover, he knew that this was his last chance. This is the only chance for Qinglu, a holy master of Qingyan Holy Land, to heal his father. Not bad, not bad. I promise you again to heal your father, and at the same time, I can also allow you to enter the Holy Land to practice. Qinglu looked at this scene, stroked his beard, nodded, and said to Jo Tien. Thank you, senior. Hearing this, Jo Tien was overjoyed. He quickly bowed respectfully to Qinglu, his tone revealing a strong sense of excitement. But why was the head of the Jo family so seriously injured? Qinglu asked with some doubts. With his strength, he could tell at a glance that Jo Yanlu's injuries were not ordinary injuries, but caused by being frightened by a powerful aura. Mentioning his injury, Jo Yanlu looked a little embarrassed. There was a hint of memory in his eyes. I left the Jo family a few years ago and accidentally got a map, a treasure map, while I was out. And it says there is a Tiandao flower in the place where the treasure is hidden. After speaking, Jo Yanlu pointed at Jo Tien and said, this Tiandao flower is an ancient rare material. After taking it, it can quickly change a person's physique and improve his cultivation. You also know that Tiener's cultivation has been declining over the years. There has been no progress. So I wanted to get the Tiandao flower and try to see if Tiener could recover. Tiandao Hua. Even though Qing Lu was a holy lord and had seen countless treasures, he was a little shocked when he heard the words, Tiandao Hua, from Jo Yanlu's mouth. This thing was hard to come by. In the past 3,000 years, he had never heard of this thing being born. But now, he actually heard about the existence of Tiandao flower from Jo Yanlu, a person in the earth profound realm. He did not doubt Jo Yanlu's words. After all, he was the holy lord of Qingyan Holy Land. In front of him, Jo Yanlu could tell at a glance that he was not lying. However, it is said that treasures are guarded by guardian beasts. At that time, I was already dazzled by the Tiandao flower in front of me. As a result, the guardian beast that guards the Tiandao flower was awakened, which is terrifying to say the least. It only took one breath and it hit me hard. If I hadn't run fast, I would have been hit hard. Speaking of this, Jo Yanlu smiled bitterly. Thinking about it now, he felt a little palpitated in his heart, and he was even more grateful that he ran fast. This can be regarded as your great fortune, Tiandao Hua, a legendary rare treasure. Its guardian beast is probably at least a semi-saint. If you can escape from a semi-saint, you are lucky. Qing Lu looked at Zhou Tien and was filled with emotion. This is the existence of a semi-saint. As a true saint, he naturally understands the difference between a semi-saint and the earthly mysterious realm. Jo Yanlu was able to come back because the opponent had just woken up and the attack was not that powerful. Otherwise, how could he have been able to escape? Father, this is how your illness came about. No wonder you are unwilling to tell anyone who asks you. Zhou Tien suddenly realized. At first, he also asked his father and had doubts. However, his father has always refused to say anything. He knows that his father must be hiding something. Now, everything has come to light. But this junior suspects that the heavenly flower is not truly mature yet. Zhou Tien pondered for a moment and continued to speak. Okay, now the truth is out. Your disease can be easily cured. After understanding the ins and outs of the matter, Qing Lu nodded. Then with a wave of his hand, a pill appeared in his hand. Then it drifted towards Jo Yanlu. This Holy Spirit pill is enough to heal you. Qing Lu looked at Jo Yanlu and said slowly. As soon as the Holy Spirit pill appeared, a fragrance appeared around it, which made people feel refreshed. Thank you, Senior. Jo Yanlu hesitated slightly, then took the pill and said quickly, and then swallowed it without hesitation. After taking it, under the gaze of everyone, Jo Yanlu's complexion began to change at a speed visible to the naked eye. His originally pale complexion gradually became much rosier, and his breath became more stable. Cough. After a long time, suddenly, Jo Yanlu coughed slightly, and a trace of black blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. PFF'd. Jo Yanlu spit out a mouthful of black blood, his face flushed, a hint of joy appeared in the depths of his eyes, and his aura suddenly increased. Yes, not only has the injury healed, but there is also hope for a prosperous life. Qing Lu looked at the smile on Jo Yanlu's face and nodded with satisfaction. Thank you, Senior, for your life-saving grace. Jo Yanlu stood up excitedly and kissed Qing Lu. Zhou Tien, who was on the side, saw a look of ecstasy on his face when he saw that his father had finally recovered, and there were tears in his eyes. Since his cultivation began to decline, for the sake of his cultivation resources in his family, he fought against all odds to preserve his cultivation resources. Otherwise, I'm afraid his cultivation will regress even faster. Perhaps, if he had no cultivation resources, he might have become a useless person at this time. However, his father has since recovered. But what about him? When will he recover? Why, looking at his hands, Zhou Tien sighed in his heart, and there was also a look of determination in his eyes. Even if he cannot recover, he will not give up his practice. He believed in himself that he would be able to recover. You all should step aside. Tiener will stay. I have something to say to them alone. After recovering, Jo Yanlu looked at the elders of the Zhou family and said calmly. Several elders of the Zhou family looked at Jo Yanlu hesitantly. There was a slight hesitation, but thinking that Jo Yanlu was still the head of the Zhou family, if he was still seriously ill, he might still be able to. However, now that he has recovered, they looked at each other and retreated in tacit agreement. Everyone around the living room was also driven away. Only a few people in the living room were left. Jo Yanlu looked at Qinglu and the others, hesitated slightly, then took out a map from the space ring and handed it to Qinglu. Map. Qinglu was stunned when he saw the map handed over by Jo Yanlu. Then I understood something. Is this the map recording Tiandaohua? Zhang Lin, on the other hand, grabbed the map directly from Qinglu's hand and put it on the table to read. Qinglu didn't care and let Zhang Lin snatch it away. I don't know what kind of material this map is made of. It is a thin layer, but it is very heavy, as if it has the strength of 1,000 caddies. Zhang Lin looked through it carefully, but couldn't see any clues. At the same time, looking at the map, he couldn't help but asked in confusion, why is this map incomplete? When Xie Qingyao heard Zhang Lin's words, she also set her sights on the map. After taking a closer look, I found that the map was really incomplete. Although it seems to be complete, it is missing a piece. The missing half was taken away by others. He was seriously injured at the time and was plotted against, so part of the map was missing. After hearing them say that part of the map was missing, Jo Yanlu also explained. Since you, Master Zhou, have been to that place, you must be able to find it again without a map. Zhang Lin spoke and looked at Jo Yanlu. It stands to reason that since you have been there, you should never forget it. I'm ashamed to say that that place was so strange. As soon as I left, all my memories of that place disappeared. So, that place has disappeared from my memory, and I can't find where it is. Jo Yanlu shook his head and said with some regret. Hearing this, Qinglu and Xie Qingyao also frowned. It's really strange, but do you know who owns the other part of the map? Zhang Lin said. The map needs to be complete to find the specific location of Tiandaohua. The incomplete map is of no use at all. I don't know what that person looks like. Jo Yanlu said, somewhat surprised that the monster Zhang Lin could speak. A monster that speaks human words, Earth Profound Realm, Sky Profound Realm. Zhou Tien, on the other hand, stared at Zhang Lin, secretly shocked in his heart. Zhou Tien's gaze caught Zhang Lin's attention. Raising his eyes, Zhang Lin also looked at Zhou Tien, the protagonist of the divorce breakup story and the son of luck. But it was different from what he imagined. Although the Zhou family is a bit aggressive, there are only 3 or 2 big cats and kittens. And Zhou Tien didn't shout out the sentence that he still can't forget. 30 years in Hedong, 30 years in Hexi, don't bully young people into poverty. He lowered his head again and looked at Zhou Tien's hands. I want to see if there is a ring on his finger. But it was a pity for him. His hands were bare and there was no ring. Grandpa, don't you have a ring? In other words, it's in his body. Zhang Lin secretly guessed in his heart. He stared at Zhou Tien with burning eyes, as if he wanted to see through him. Zhang Lin's burning eyes made Zhou Tien feel uncomfortable all over, and even felt his scalp numb. Let him take 2 steps back unconsciously and distance himself from Zhang Lin. His actions were also caught by Zhang Lin, who grinned at Zhou Tien in his eyes. Then, Zhang Lin was grabbed by Xie Qingyao and placed on his shoulders. Don't let him continue to scare Zhou Tien. He gave Zhou Tien an apologetic look. All right, that's it for today. In 3 days, Zhou Tien will come to Xia's house. Then I will return to the Holy Land with me to practice. After everything was resolved, Qinglu spoke. Hearing Qinglu's words, Jo Yanlu breathed a sigh of relief, and then he cupped his hands towards several people and said, Thank you very much, Lord Qing, for your life-saving grace. Yanlu will never forget it. Tiener will definitely arrive at Xia's house in 3 days. Night. In Zhou Tien's room, Zhou Tien was sitting cross-legged on the bed alone, running his family's martial arts and inhaling spiritual energy. I still haven't recovered. No matter how hard I try and how much spiritual energy I absorb, the spiritual energy will disappear inexplicably after it enters my body. After feeling that there was still no change in his cultivation, Zhou Tien also stopped and opened his eyes. Looking at his hands, Zhou Tien shook his head bitterly. Do I really have no hope of breaking through to the aperture realm in my entire life? There was also deep helplessness in his eyes. Boy, do you want to become stronger? Do you want to restore your cultivation? Do you want to be a strong man in this world? Suddenly, an old voice sounded in Zhou Tien's mind. Think. Hearing this voice, Jo Tien blurted out without thinking at all. Jo Tien suddenly reacted and raised his head suddenly, staring at the surroundings. His expression was alert and his eyes were flickering. Who are you? Come out. After calming down, Jo Tien asked coldly. Hee hee. Old laughter sounded from all directions, and then a figure condensed around Jo Tien. He was dressed in black, with a stooped figure and an old face. When the old figure first appeared, Jo Tien was startled. He stood up and stared at the black figure vigilantly, his heart full of vigilance. Don't be so nervous. I have noticed your perseverance in the past few years. Are you interested in becoming your teacher? The slowly condensed old figure was suspended in midair and looked at Jo Tien and said. Worship you as my teacher. Who are you? Why are you in my room? Also, what do you mean, several years? After hearing the words of the man in black, Jo Tien also asked quickly, staring at him closely. Especially what the other party said made him even more confused. It's just literal, how about it? Worship me as your teacher, Earth Zon, Tien Zon or nothing. Even that saint, the teachings of a good teacher can be expected in the future. The old man put his hands behind his back and looked down at Jo Tien. An aura of contempt for all living things was exuded, making the surrounding environment tremble slightly. This kind of coercion made Jo Tiandu unable to help but feel in awe. However, he was not overwhelmed by the old man's majesty. On the contrary, it made him think about some things clearly. The look he looked at the old man became increasingly evil. My cultivation has been declining in the past few years. Could it be your fault? His tone was cold, his fists clenched tightly, and Jo Tien's face darkened. Ah ha ha ha, don't say that, I'm just training you. Old guy, it turns out it was you. Do you know how I have lived these past few years? Do you know? At the same time, a black shadow streaked across the sky. Where is this? This place always gives me a very familiar feeling. In the valley, Zhong Lin, who had transformed into a human form, followed Xie Qingyao and looked at the surrounding scenery in the valley, wondering. Still don't remember. Once upon a time, I picked you up here. In the valley, there are piles of rocks and overgrown weeds. Xie Qingyao's face showed a look of reminiscence. She sighed softly, and her eyes fell on Zhong Lin. It was as if she had seen the time when she met Zhong Lin again. What a big change between him now and him before. Did you pick me up here back then? Why do I still have the slightest impression? Walking in the cold wind, Zhong Lin looked at the surrounding scenery and frowned and murmured. The scenery here did seem familiar to him, but he couldn't recall the slightest memory of it. Were there any large monsters here before? Suddenly, a huge ravine in front of him attracted his attention, which made Zhong Lin confused, and his eyes fell on the ravine. This ravine does not look like it was naturally formed at all. Instead, it looks like it was created by some large monster with its body on the ground. The ravine stretches for hundreds of meters, and at a glance, there is no end in sight. Here, this is where I picked you up. Xie Qingyao stretched out her hand and pointed forward. The end of the ravine was where she had been. There, she picked up Zhong Lin. Introduction. Strange resurgence, strange stories come. As we all know, when you enter a strange world, you will be given a gift of talent. But what did Lin Bai draw? Linzhong number 1 middle school, copy. Enforced politeness, skill effect. Every time the chosen one behaves politely, weirdness will respond to the chosen one in the same way. Lin Bai was speechless. What kind of talent is this? Luowan Mental Hospital, copy. Infinitely charming. Skill effect. This skill can make weird fall in love with the chosen one. In other words, there are a lot of strange things surrounding the chosen one. Then isn't this guy dead? Everyone doubted Lin Bai's ability. But things gradually went wrong. Until Lin Bai used his weird abilities to clear the strange stories again and again. Only then did everyone realize, is this the concept God? Is that so? The familiar feeling in his mind became more and more intense, making Zhong Lin fall into deep thought. There seemed to be some fragments of vague memories that kept echoing in his mind, but he just didn't know what they were. Countless blurry fragments kept flashing by, unable to be pieced together. Zhong Lin tried hard to piece the pieces together, but every time he tried, his head ached. Patting his head, Zhong Lin tried hard to remember something. However, the fragments in his mind were too chaotic and he couldn't distinguish them at all. What happened back then? Why don't I have the slightest impression? The blurry fragments gradually became clearer. That is. Suddenly, a picture appeared in his mind, a monster beast covered in scales, like a dragon or a dragon, ferocious, terrifying, and extremely fierce. However, there were wounds all over his body, with blood marks crisscrossing them, and blood left along the scales. Even the 2 dragon horns on the huge head were flattened and broken. Bright red blood flowed down the wound. What kind of monster is this? The picture flashed by and then became blurry again. Although it was only fleeting, Zhonglin still captured this scene. However, for some reason, he was seriously injured all over his body, and his whole body was stained red with blood. That picture, for some reason, made him feel sad and angry. Okay, if you can't remember it, don't think about it. Seeing the slightly painful look on Zhonglin's face, Xie Qingyao stepped forward to support Zhonglin and comforted him softly. Fine. Zhonglin shook his head gently, looked into the distance, and murmured. Qingyao picked me up here, and this demon dragon also appeared here. And the drop of dragon essence blood that suddenly appeared in my body. A series of information kept pouring into Zhonglin's mind. Is it possible he is Heavenly Dragon? Thinking of the demonic dragon, Zhonglin's pupils shrank suddenly. He seemed to have guessed his identity. But why would the Heavenly Flood Dragon give his blood essence to himself? This was another question. For a moment, Zhonglin couldn't figure it out. Let's go. Coming here is just to get acquainted with the scene. The 2 stayed here for a long time. The cold wind was biting and biting. Xie Qingyao took one last look here, then turned around and left with Zhonglin, who had transformed into his true form again. Perhaps this is also the last time I come here. In the future, I probably won't have another chance. Xie Qingyao's back gradually disappeared into the valley. 3 days passed by in a blink of an eye. Today is the day they leave. Tien also arrived at Xia's house early and met Xie Qingyao and others. Are you able to practice? There are faint signs of improvement in your cultivation. Suddenly, noticing something strange in Tien's aura, Qinglu came to Tien's side, grabbed his arm and checked the aura in his body. 3 days ago, Tien's aura was still at the 9th level of body training. But now, it is vaguely about to break through to the aperture realm. You know, Tien has been regressing in cultivation, and it is impossible for him to improve in cultivation. Unless he has recovered. Just 3 days after breaking off the engagement, his body recovered. This, Qinglu found out a trace of spiritual power, entered Tien's body, and inspected it carefully. Wanting to find out what was the reason for this to restore his cultivation. However, upon inspection, nothing was found, and no abnormalities were detected in his body, which was strange. It's so baffling. With a longevity of 3,000 years, this is the first time he has encountered this situation. No matter how you think about it, it feels weird. But even if he recovered, it would be nothing to him. No impact. The marriage was called off, and there was no longer any relationship between him and Xie Qingyao. It's really weird. Putting down his hand, Qinglu stared at Tien with strange eyes for a long time. Even Tien felt a little scared when Qinglu saw him. However, seeing that Lord Qing didn't notice anything in his body, he breathed a sigh of relief and thought to himself, fortunately, he was not discovered. After seeing that Holy Lord Qing was no longer paying attention to him, Tien quickly said in his heart, Master, are you okay? That's right, Tien finally worshipped that soul body as his teacher. Don't worry, with his little tricks, he won't be able to detect his teacher at all. After hearing the master's words, Tien was relieved, but he was still more worried. I'm afraid that Holy Lord Qing will really see something. Has your cultivation level recovered? After hearing Qinglu's words, Xie Qingyao and Zhonglin both turned their attention to Tien. A look of surprise appeared in Xie Qingyao's eyes. Obviously she didn't expect that he recovered in just 3 days. His cultivation regressed for several years, only to recover as soon as he broke off the engagement. Thinking of this, Xie Qingyao looked at Tien strangely. On the other hand, Zhonglin's expression were a bit dull. Obviously, this news did not come as a surprise. My cultivation has recovered, and it looks like the golden finger has arrived. I just don't know if it's Grandpa Soul or what. Zhonglin looked at Zhou Tien, as if he had seen through everything. After Zhou Tien breathed a sigh of relief, he just raised his head and met Zhonglin's eyes. Suddenly, his heart tightened. Especially his flat gaze, which seemed to see through everything, made people feel a little uncomfortable. Fortunately, Zhonglin didn't stare at Zhou Tien all the time. He just looked away after a few glances. Master, do you know the origin of this monster? Zhou Tien was still very curious about Zhonglin. The monster beast that speaks human words also has a cultivation level of the Earth Profound Realm or the Sky Profound Realm. The most important thing is Zhonglin's appearance. It has 2 horns on its head and 4 bulges on both sides of its body, obviously showing some signs of transforming into a dragon. Jiaolong, a pure-blooded dragon. It's amazing. As long as he reaches maturity, he will definitely be a saint. This little girl is amazing. You are so lucky to have such a spiritual pet. Bai Lao couldn't help but sigh at the old soul body in Zhou Tian's body. Dragon. Hearing this, Zhou Tian's expression when he looked at Zhonglin changed. That little girl is not simple at all. She is at the 8th level of Tianquan. She is about to break through to the realm of the king. This is incredible. I'm afraid she will be a powerful enemy on your way to becoming emperor from now on. Looking at Xie Qingyao again, Mr. Bai also gave him a high evaluation. Although his strength is 10,000, he still has his eyesight here, and he can clearly see the reality of Xie Qingyao at a glance. Di Lu, Master, do I really have hope? Di Lu, Master, do I really have hope? Zhou Tien was silent for a long time after hearing the words of the cheap master in his body. Climbing the road to becoming an emperor was something he would never have dared to think about before his cultivation had declined. Even now, he dare not think about it. How could he covet the legendary position of emperor? As if aware of Zhou Tian's lack of confidence, Mr. Bai smiled. Silly boy, there is hope, of course there is hope, it's just the imperial road. The teachings of a wise teacher, like that saint, are not your end. Even becoming a quasi-emperor is not your end. Our goal is to become an emperor or even an immortal. There are so many powerful people on the emperor's road, and each one of them is an amazing and talented being. However, you have the teachings of your teacher, and the technique that your teacher taught you. As long as you work hard, you will definitely not be better than them. Difference. Bai Lao was a little angry at Zhou Tian's lack of confidence. Doesn't this kid have any fighting spirit? Who among those who practice doesn't want to become an emperor? Even that 3-year-old child, after entering cultivation, is taking steps towards his dream of becoming an emperor and does not dare to slack off. Call. Yes, I have master's teachings, and I have no shortage of exercises and martial arts skills. What should I be afraid of? Zhou Tian's expression gradually became firmer. He had not given up despite being ridiculed and attacked for so many years. How could he give up so easily? That's right, my cultivation is against the heavens, and I can overcome all difficulties. Mr. Bai also burst out laughing, and seeing Zhou Tian's determined expression, he couldn't help but smile in appreciation. Okay, everyone is here. Then it's time for us to go. Seeing that the 2 people and the snake were all present, Xie Qingyao and others simply said goodbye to their families. As soon as Qinglu waved his hand, everyone disappeared. There was a little trouble on the way to Xia's house, but nothing happened on the way back. No, it should be said that something happened that surprised them all. In just 3 days, Zhou Tien directly broke through from the 9th level of the body forging realm to the aperture realm. But according to what Holy Lord Qing said, his cultivation has regressed for too long. He originally had the foundation of cultivation in the Earth Profound Realm, but now he is suddenly able to practice, which can be regarded as a solid accumulation. You should know about the 108 peaks of Qingyan Holy Land. Which peak do you want to join? Qingyan Holy Land. Inside the main hall of Qingyan Peak, Lord Qing was sitting on the main seat, looking at Zhou Tien below and asked. In his opinion, since Zhou Tien's practice has been restored, he relies on his talent and the character he has honed over the years. Sooner or later, he will be able to soar into the sky. This is not impossible. Disciple wants to join Tianju Peak. Below, Zhou Tien, who had already considered which peak he wanted to join, said without hesitation after the Qing Holy Lord asked. Tianju Peak. Zhou Tian's answer surprised Holy Master Qing and Xie Qingyao. Tianju Peak is the peak with the fewest disciples among the 108 peaks in Qingyan Holy Land. It is also the most remote main peak. In terms of aura, the aura of Tianju Peak is not as good as other peaks. In terms of cultivation environment, Tianju Peak is also not as good as other peaks. This also resulted in that there were very few disciples on Tianju Peak and their cultivation speed was not very fast. The disciples who joined Tianju Peak are also disciples who are not very talented. Why did you choose Tianju Peak? Holy Lord Qing was also puzzled by this. Not only him, Xie Qingyao and the others were also confused. After all, Zhou Tian's qualifications are more than enough to join other peaks, he just needs to be given some time to recover. Choosing Tianju Peak would be too unfair. You have to know that Tianju Peak is inferior to other peaks in every aspect. Are you sure you want to join Tianju Peak? Holy Master Qing frowned and said with a slightly serious tone. To be honest, he still cherishes talents like Zhou Tian and does not want Zhou Tian to be delayed by Tianju Peak. Yes, disciple, I'm sure. Zhou Tian didn't mind at all about Holy Lord Qing's attitude. Forget it, then you can go to Tianju Peak. Old 19, come and pick me up. Seeing Zhou Tian's determination, Holy Lord Qing did not force himself any further. After a while, an old man appeared in the hall. This is a plainly dressed old man with a rugged face and nothing out of the ordinary, but judging from the aura that permeates his body, he is clearly a semi-saint strong man. 19. Take him away and train him well. This kid is definitely a talent. This old man is the peak master of Tianju Peak, a half-stone quasi-sage. Don't worry, leave it to me. The half-stone quasi-sage known as Laoju, after hearing Lord Qing's words, glanced at Zhou Tian and nodded immediately. His powerful voice didn't sound like an extremely old man at all, but more like a mature man. When Zhou Tian heard this, he bowed slightly. Just looking at him, I felt a heavy oppression that made me unable to escape. Zhou Tian, I leave it to you. Who knows, Holy Lord Qing just finished speaking. Banshee Quasi-Sage opened his eyes wide and looked at Zhou Tian with some surprise. Even though his heart had been calm for thousands of years, he couldn't help but be shaken when he heard the name Zhou Tian. Is this guy Zhou Tian? He remembered this boy's name. Among the entire high-level elite of Qingyan Holy Land, this name is known to everyone. The saint's fiancé, that good for nothing. Why is he here? Quasi-Sage Banshee glanced at Zhou Tian, then turned his attention to Lord Qing. He looked at Holy Lord Qing strangely. I'm a little confused, shouldn't I break off the engagement? Why, did you bring someone back? Well, the marriage was called off, but he can already practice cultivation. He is also a good seedling. He has accumulated a lot of experience. I believe it will not take long to grow up. Holy Master Qing coughed and explained. Are you able to practice? Banshee Quasi-Sage glanced at Zhou Tian in surprise. Taking a closer look, it seemed that he did feel that Zhou Tian's cultivation level had improved a lot. There are faint signs of rising. Call, okay, I get it. Since you can practice cultivation, that's easy to say. Banshee Quasi-Sage also breathed a sigh of relief. If this kid can practice, then it's easy to say. And his cultivation is still in the aperture realm, doesn't that mean that his plan can? Thinking of this, Banshee Quasi-Sage also had a fiery look in his eyes when he looked at Zhou Tian. He has been thinking about that plan for hundreds of years, but he has never found a suitable candidate. And now, Sunday is here. Maybe, it can really be realized. Boy, let's go. Follow me from now on, and I guarantee that your treatment will not be compared to others. With that said, he grabbed Zhou Tian's back and disappeared into the hall. Why did you choose Tianju Peak? This kid is probably going to be tortured a lot now. That's Uncle Banshee's obsession. Now that Zhou Tian has arrived, how can he give up so easily? Knowing the obsession in Banshee Quasi-Sage's heart, Xie Qingyao sighed and shook her head helplessly. As he spoke, he used his fingers to tease Zhang Lin's scales on his hand. As for Zhou Tian, she hoped that he could survive in the hands of Uncle Banshee. Master Banshee is not a simple quasi-sage. Although he guards Tianju Peak, his true strength is considered to be among the top 20 in Qingyan Holy Land. Okay, you can go practice too and leave Zhang Lin behind. It's better to break through to the king's realm as soon as possible. Only when you reach the king's realm can you be considered a real strong man. Holy Lord Qing waved his hand and told Xie Qingyao. However, Zhang Lin was allowed to stay for some unknown reason. Yes, master. The master asked Zhang Lin to stay, and Xie Qingyao nodded without saying anything. But Zhang Lin was different. Hearing Holy Master Qing's words, he opened his eyes in Xie Qingyao's hands. Looking at Holy Lord Qing, there was some confusion and incomprehension. Why did Holy Master Qing keep him? Moreover, he always felt that the meaning of Holy Lord Qing letting him stay this time might not be a good thing. Old man, if you have any problem, just tell me. The boy is scared. After saying that, he stood up and hid on the back of Xie Qingyao's neck, only sticking out his head and looking at Holy Lord Qing. This old man has no good intentions. Better to hide. Holy Lord Qing. Seeing Zhang Lin's fearful and timid expression, the corners of Holy Lord Qing's mouth twitched slightly. This little thing. Don't worry, it won't do you any harm, only good. Helplessly, Holy Master Qing waved his hand, and Zhang Lin flew out from the back of Xie Qingyao's neck and landed in his palm. What are you afraid of? How can I hurt you? Holy Lord Qing said angrily as he held Zhang Lin in his hands. Zhang Lin didn't say anything when he heard this. He really doesn't dare to say it now. Helpless, Zhang Lin could only roll his eyes at him and did not continue to talk. This old man is so petty. Xie Qingyao also smiled slightly, then turned and left, leaving the two of them in the hall. The realm of kings is not far away either. She also has to start working hard. When Xie Qingyao's back disappeared from sight, Holy Lord Qing turned his head and stared at Zhang Lin. Looking at the young man in front of him, Holy Lord Qing showed a solemn look on his face. Boy Zhang, I will give you a good fortune. After saying that, they also disappeared into the hall, unknown to where they went. Tibetan Scripture Pavilion. What are you doing here? Looking at the stars flowing like a river of stars in the sky above, Zhang Lin was a little confused. Each of these stars twinkling above the head represents a skill. The brighter the light, the higher the grade. Zhang Lin looked at Holy Lord Qing in confusion, somewhat confused as to why he brought him here. When he talks about creation, are he referring to these techniques? He himself seems to have no shortage of skills. Instead of giving him skills, it would be better to find him some real treasures from heaven and earth. Ignoring Zhang Lin's doubtful gaze, Holy Lord Qing walked in front and said calmly to Zhang Lin, who turned into a human behind him, "Follow me." The stars twinkled above, illuminating the surrounding scene. Taking one step forward, Zhang Lin followed closely behind Holy Master Qing. Around him, there were some flashes of light floating around him from time to time. Looking at this shimmering light group, driven by curiosity, Zhang Lin also reached out and touched it curiously. The finger touches the ball of light. In an instant, a secret code called Tien Sword appeared in Zhang Lin's mind. Tyrant Sword, Sword Technique, a very powerful secret book. Once the sword is out, it will intimidate the whole world. The sword intention is as vast as the sea of smoke, stretching for thousands of miles. With one strike of the sword, the power of the sword spread across the 8 wastelands, the intention of the sword spread across the heaven and the earth, dominating the universe. Unparalleled domineering. Ding, you watched Tien Sword and understood something. Congratulations on understanding Kang Tien Yi Sword. Goldfinger, who had not responded for a long time, suddenly sounded. In his mind, a figure seemed to appear. Holding a long knife in his hand, just standing there, he felt a terrifying knife force that spread across the wilderness, pouring down from the sky and covering his whole body. An indescribable feeling of terror surged into his body. It seemed that his soul was trembling with tremors from this majestic sword energy. That feeling of fear surged in like a flood. The knife swung out and struck him between the eyebrows. His soul was about to collapse. How is this going? Zhang Lin's pupils shrank suddenly, and he was horrified. Involuntarily, a chill swept through his body. Call. Returning to his mind, Zhang Lin looked at the scene full of stars around him and breathed a sigh of relief. A knife in the sky, it's so terrifying. Thinking back to the knife just now, Zhang Lin was still frightened. Suddenly, he discovered that this Buddhist scripture pavilion was also a good place. Just one, Tien Sword, gave him a Kang Tien Yida. You know, there are countless secret books on martial arts stored in this sutra pavilion. Thinking of this, Zhang Lin looked at the galaxy above, with a burning look in his eyes. If there is a chance, he must stay in this sutra pavilion for a while. Why, you weren't interested in the sutra pavilion just now, but now you are. Zhang Lin's every move was under his attention. Feeling Zhang Lin's burning eyes, Holy Lord Qing smiled slightly, feeling a little proud in his heart. The Sutra Pavilion in their Qingyan Holy Land contains countless secret books of techniques in the world. Anyone who comes here will flock to the Sutra Pavilion. Even a powerful man like him in the Holy Realm would sometimes come to the Sutra Pavilion to consult. It can be seen how valuable this Sutra Pavilion is. I want to stay here for a while, Zhang Lin said sincerely without denying his love for the Sutra Pavilion. Hearing this, Holy Lord Qing was slightly startled. After reacting, he also smiled and said, "Okay, but before that, come with me." That good fortune is also an incredible thing. With a flick of his sleeves, Holy Lord Qing led Zhang Lin to a stone door. The stone door is engraved with dense patterns, shining with misty light against the starlight. Go in, the good fortune is inside. In front of the stone gate, Lord Qing pointed at the stone gate and said to Zhang Lin. On the lines of the stone gate, a huge monster beast clearly appeared, lifelike, like a living creature, with teeth and claws, full of violence and domineering power. Zhang Lin glanced at Lord Qing, walked forward, and looked at Shimin. Although I don't know what is in it. However, since Lord Qing said that it was a blessing for him, why is he still hesitating? Put your hand on the stone door and push hard. Crack. There was a crisp sound, and the stone door slowly opened. Boom. The stone door opened slowly, and a wave of attraction instantly sucked Zhang Lin in. Afterwards, Lord Qing also slowly walked into the stone door. Behind stone gate, a feeling of dizziness came, and when Zhang Lin opened his eyes again, he found that he was already in another space. When you first see it, you will see a giant tree that reaches the sky, with branches and leaves that are extremely prosperous. The crown of the tree reaches straight into the sky. The energy of life that permeates the entire world makes people feel relaxed and happy. If you stay here all the time, I'm afraid even an ordinary person can live to 300 years. Practitioners here can greatly increase their longevity. Zhang Lin sighed. Old man, is this what you call good fortune? Zhang Lin asked, looking at the Qing Holy Lord who appeared next to him. If it were just this rich life energy, it would not be considered a great blessing to him. After all, the energy of life is not that useful to him. Taking this opportunity, Zhang Lin also looked at this small world. This world is very vast. At a glance, there is no end in sight. Moreover, the surrounding trees, flowers and plants are full of strong breath of life. However, what made him curious was that he did not feel any practitioners here. It seemed like they were the only two people in the vast world. This place is not what I meant by good fortune. This time, you are lucky enough to be able to come in. The next time you come in, I'm afraid it will be the time when you are about to become a Taoist. Hearing Zhang Lin's words, he wanted to slap him. Here, not just anyone can come in if they want to. Nor was it created for him. Follow me. She rolled her eyes at him, and Holy Lord Qing walked in front, heading towards the giant tree that reached the sky. Zhang Lin followed behind, curious in his heart, since it is not the energy of life, then what is the fortune the old man is talking about? Look closer. Zhang Lin got closer to the giant tree that reached the sky and took a closer look. His pupils suddenly tightened and he looked at the scene in front of him in disbelief. I saw, a huge dragon head hangs low on the giant tree, and the dragon's beard flutters, as if swaying in the wind, full of divinity and majesty. This is. Zhang Lin looked at the giant tree and couldn't help but take a breath of air. Turning his head to look at Holy Lord Qing, his eyes were full of disbelief. The dragon's head hangs low, and its huge body is wrapped around the trunk of the giant tree, hidden in it and cannot be seen clearly. Just in front of this, Zhang Lin could feel a vast and powerful aura emanating from the giant dragon. At the very least, it is a giant dragon in the Holy Realm. There is no doubt about this. Senior Long Wu, this junior brought him here. In Zhang Lin's surprised eyes, Holy Lord Qing stepped forward and said respectfully to the dragon with its eyes closed tightly. Long Wu, Senior. Zhang Lin was a little surprised at the name Lord Qing called him. As far as he knew, Old Man Qing had lived for 3,000 years. To be called a senior, he must have lived for many years. Call. As if being disturbed by the voice of Lord Qing, the huge dragon head exhaled a breath of turbid air from its nostrils. The air wave made Zhang Lin's clothes rustle. It's Xiao Qingzi. The closed eyes trembled slightly, and the dragon's cold eyes slowly opened. The dark golden pupils contain an awe-inspiring look, making people feel like they dare not look directly. Xiao Qingzi. Hearing this name, Zhang Lin couldn't help but twitch the corners of his mouth. I want to laugh a little, but I don't dare to laugh. Especially when the old man Qing looked at him with that bland look, he had to hold it in his heart. Xiao Qingzi, this name is so good. It is estimated that no one could have imagined that the majestic holy master of Qingyan Holy Land would actually be called Xiao Qingzi. At this moment, the giant dragon hanging on the giant tree suddenly came closer. The huge dragon head came close to Zhang Lin. The nostrils moved slightly, and 2 streams of air were sprayed out, impacting Zhang Lin's body. The giant dragon looked at Zhang Lin. And Zhang Lin was also sizing up the senior dragon in front of him. Even though the giant dragon has approached him, his body is still hidden in the giant tree. No matter how he observes, it is difficult to see his whole body. Junior Zhang Lin, I have met my senior. Zhang Lin said with his fists clasped. For Old Man Qing to be so respectful, it is obvious that he is also a big shot figure in Qingyan Holy Land. Blood dragon bloodline. Not bad. The giant dragon moved slowly, and the body hidden in the giant tree gradually appeared. Then he turned into an old man and appeared in front of them. Old, lonely. This was Zhang Lin's first impression when he saw the old man. The old man looked like an ordinary old man. He was thin and plainly dressed, with a hint of vicissitudes of life all over his body. There is absolutely no other old man like this among the people Zhang Lin has ever met. He was holding a cane in his hand, and his gray hair was scattered freely. The robe on his body was a little tattered and wrinkled. He looked like a broken old man. But even so, no one dared to despise him. The old man looked at Zhang Lin with his eyes, as if he had an insight into it. Zhang Lin touched his nose in embarrassment and said with a guilty conscience, I don't know, senior. I'm looking for junior. What's the matter? After casually finding a big stone, old man Long Wu sat on it, never taking his eyes off Zhang Lin. It's nothing. I just heard from Xiao Qingzi that a pure-blood dragon appeared in the Holy Land. I'm quite interested. The old man said Xiao Qingzi, which made Zhang Lin want to laugh even more. Even Lord Qing, who was standing aside, had black lines and embarrassment all over his face. After all, it was in front of the juniors. As a holy lord, he also wanted to save face. Unfortunately, he also knew that even if he said it, it would be of no use. This title cannot be changed. On the contrary, seeing Zhang Lin's expression of wanting to laugh, Holy Master Qing also glared at him and told him to restrain himself. After being glared at, Zhang Lin immediately suppressed his smile. Are you interested in going to Tianlongxing? I see your potential. It's not hopeless to become a dragon. As soon as the old man spoke, Zhang Lin instantly understood what the old man meant. Just like what old man Qing told him before, go to the Tianlong clan and become a dragon son. However, he really has no idea. No matter what, I want him to go to the Tianlong clan. Zhang Lin smiled bitterly in his heart. Senior, this junior really doesn't have this idea. Before he could finish speaking, the old man spoke again. Don't refuse in a hurry, listen to what I have to say first. Go to Tianlong Star, and I guarantee that you can undergo a dragon blood baptism, and that you will have the identity, status, and treatment of a quasi-dragon son. The most important thing, and the most beneficial thing for you, is that after becoming Longzi, you will have the opportunity to enter the secret realm of 9 dragons. The old man's expression became more solemn, and he looked at Zhang Lin and said seriously. The secret realm of Kowloon. Zhang Lin raised his eyebrows. He felt a little unfamiliar with this newly heard term. I don't know what this secret realm of Kowloon is. Why would it be of great benefit to him? Looking at the old man in confusion, Zhang Lin asked, Senior, what is the purpose of this Kowloon secret realm? The 9 Dragons secret realm is a secret realm among the Tianlong Star and the Dragon Clan. It is specially open to generations of dragons. The old man said slowly, speaking very slowly, one sentence at a time, very clearly. There are various opportunities and inheritances within the Kowloon secret realm. There are even blood essences and inheritances from the legendary pure blood dragons. The old man sat there, stroking his beard and continued, his eyes never leaving Zhong Lin. Pure blood dragon. Zhong Lin was stunned, his eyes full of surprise. Pure blood dragon. Are there still pure-blooded true dragons in this world? Even if it only has blood essence and inheritance, it is definitely a huge temptation for the monsters who aim to transform into dragons. Not to mention, it still has the blood essence and inheritance left by the pure-blooded true dragon. How's it going? Seeing Zhong Lin stunned, old man Qing asked. That pure-blooded true dragon has at least the cultivation level of an emperor. Whether he has become an immortal or not, we have never known this. They don't know much about the things in the Nine Dragons' secret realm. Even about the pure-blooded true dragon, I had only heard about it and had not seen it with my own eyes, perform. Then there's nothing to hesitate about. Just agree quickly, Holy Lord Qing urged. Don't worry, as an elder of the Tianlong clan, I can let you enter the Tianlong clan and become a quasi-dragon son. The old man said with a smile while stroking his beard. He is the enshrined elder of the Tianlong clan, and he is also a member of the Tianlong clan, with a very high status. And he also has a great relationship with the current leader of the Tianlong clan. In the Tianlong clan, pushing a quasi-dragon is something that comes easily. Senior, do you have such high hopes for this junior? What if Zhong Lin really couldn't figure out why he had to go to Tianlong Star? The same goes for old man Qing, and so does the senior in front of him. Then what is your purpose? You all want me to become a dragon son of the Tianlong clan and enter the Nine Dragons' secret realm. So what is your purpose? This junior doesn't believe that there is a free lunch in the world. After a long silence, Zhong Lin raised his head and looked at Holy Lord Qing and the old man. Holy Lord Qing and the old man were both slightly startled, and then the old man burst into laughter. Okay, good. We asked you to be a dragon and enter the secret realm of Kowloon. We did have a purpose, the old man said with a smile. Oh, what's the purpose? Zhong Lin asked. There is a thing called 9 dragon glazed grass in the secret realm of 9 dragons. Our purpose is to let you find it and bring it back. The old man said seriously. 9 dragon glazed grass. Zhong Lin's eyelids jumped when he heard this. 9 dragon glazed grass is a kind of miraculous medicine. It is extremely rare and can be called a legendary miraculous medicine. Not to mention whether you can become a dragon, enter the secret realm of Kowloon, even if you look for it, you may not be able to find it. The magic medicine is effective and can fly to the sky and escape from the earth. If you want to capture it, it is as difficult as climbing to the sky. Not to mention, it's the ultimate magic medicine like 9 dragon glazed grass. Don't worry, you just need to become Longzi and enter the 9 dragons' secret realm. We are already prepared to capture the 9 dragon glazed grass. Besides, this 9 dragon glazed grass is for Qingyao girl. You won't refuse, right? 2 old foxes. Zhong Lin cursed secretly in his heart. Obviously, the 2 of them had already known that they would agree. Why, I understand, when are you going? Zhong Lin sighed, with a look of helplessness on his face. Now that things are like this, what else can he say? For that girl, he had to fight even if it was a mountain of swords and a sea of fire. Let's go after the Tianyan secret realm has passed. There are still 10 years before Longzi's selection. Old man Qing said calmly. The matter of Tianyan secret realm cannot be delayed any longer. As for the imperial realm inheritance, just in case you get it. It's too late, 5 days at most. The day for the dragon blood baptism of the Tianlong clan is coming soon, and it's just right for you. The presence of that girl Qingyao in Tianyan secret realm is enough. We will set off in 5 days. Unexpectedly, Senior Long Wu said, leaving no room for Zhong Lin to refute. Even Holy Lord Qing couldn't help but roll his eyes when he heard Long Wu's words. But there was no rebuttal. This time has just been decided. 5 days later, head to Tianlong Star. Xie Qingyao is in seclusion. She will come out of seclusion whenever the Tianyan secret realm is opened. Hey, I can only stay here for these 5 days. In the Sutra Pavilion, Zhang Lin touched another light ball and sighed. Qingyao was in seclusion, and he couldn't find her. He also didn't want to be with those two old men, one more skilled than the other. I don't know when I was tricked. Therefore, he lived in this sutra pavilion. Be prepared to find some exercises that suit him. The 18 halberds of the long dragon, a halberd technique, not bad. Ding, after watching 18 halberds of the long dragon, you feel that it can still be improved. Congratulations to the host for understanding 9 halberds of the blue dragon. Ding, you watched the 6 sacred heart methods and gained some understanding. Congratulations on understanding the 6 sacred illustrations. Ding, you watched Tien Fu Shen Lu and became addicted to it. Congratulations on understanding Sheng Tien Fu Lu. One after another, with the help of the enlightenment-defying system, Zhang Lin comprehended one magical technique after another. Enlightenments continued, including Tien Fu Shen Lu, Kang Long 9 halberds, Heaven Talisman, etc., all were comprehended. He is becoming more and more familiar with these magical powers. Moreover, it is getting stronger and stronger. Unconsciously. 2 days have passed. For Zhang Lin, this sutra pavilion is simply an immovable treasure house to him. In the Sutra Collection Pavilion of Qingyan Holy Land, the exercises collected are ever-changing, and all kinds of strange exercises are also emerging one after another. Call, the right way is the way, and the evil way is also the way. Everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses, so learn from each other's strengths to make up for your weaknesses. Zhang Lin took a deep breath. In 3 days, he understood both the good and evil techniques. Although his cultivation level has not increased much, his combat effectiveness has definitely increased several times. Even if he wanted to, he could enter the Tianxuan realm at any time. Balance work and rest, balance work and rest. Zhang Lin also felt deeply exhausted after practicing hard for 3 days. Take a day off and break through to the sky profound realm before we start. The cultivation level of the earth profound realm is always a little too low. And he was going to Tianlong Star in a few days. He couldn't be looked down upon by the dragon, right? Senior brother, this position is not for us to lie down in. Outside the Sutra Pavilion, Zhang Lin, like the elder guarding the pavilion, found a deck chair and lay on it outside the Sutra Pavilion. A breeze blew through, cool and comfortable. He really admired the elder who kept the pavilion for being able to find such a way to enjoy himself. But, suddenly, a clear voice sounded from his ears. Zhang Lin lazily opened his eyes and saw a girl standing in front of him with a sweet and lovely smile on her face. What's wrong? After lying down for a long time, he couldn't help but stretch on the recliner, looking comfortable. The girl Huang Fei looked at the senior brother lying in front of her at the door of the Sutra Pavilion with some strangeness. She was destined to enter Qingyan Holy Land when she was young, so she naturally became more diligent in her practice. In all these years, except for the elders who guard the pavilion, this was the first time she saw someone sunbathing in the elder's position. This position used to be the royal position reserved for the elders guarding the pavilion. Although I don't know why the elder who keeps the pavilion is not here, if the elder who keeps the pavilion comes and finds a strange man sitting in his place, he will definitely be furious. Senior brother, how can you sit in the position of elder? Otherwise Elder Lu should be angry. Huang Fei approached and reminded her kindly. Elder Lu, is that the short old man with few hairs on his head? The one who also likes to drink and smells like alcohol, right? Looking at the girl in front of him, Zhang Lin suddenly felt like teasing her. This little girl has a pair of big eyes that flicker like 2 watery black pearls, which is very attractive. Moreover, she has a slim figure, delicate skin, and is wearing a goose yellow dress. The whole person looks full of lively vitality and youthful vigor. Senior brother, stop talking. If Elder Lu hears this, he will definitely be angry. Seeing that Zhang Lin wanted to say something, Huang Fei immediately stopped him. He seemed a little anxious, and his face turned red. Okay, if you want to enter the Sutra Tiding Pavilion, just go in. Elder Lu has something to do today, so I'll help him stay on duty for the whole day. Zhang Lin waved his hand and looked at this delicate little junior sister with a joking look on his face. Senior brother, this senior brother, you. How can you make fun of people? Seeing Zhang Lin's playful smile, She realized at this time that the senior brother in front of her had been teasing her. Staring at him angrily, her face became even more rosy, so tempting. HMPH. He snorted angrily, and then entered the scripture depository pavilion. Ignore Zhonglin anymore. A very interesting little girl. Zhonglin shook his head and smiled, then continued to lie down and rest with his eyes closed. On a certain peak, a short old man with few hairs on his head sat in front of a chessboard, playing chess with the fat old man opposite. Ha ha ha, old Lu, your strength is still not good enough. The fat old man burst out laughing when he saw the short little old man defeated. This short old man is none other than Elder Lu. HMPH, one more plate. One more. Ah, sneeze. Suddenly, the short old man sneezed, looking depressed. What kind of fool scolded me? Here, record. For a long time, the girl who entered the Sutra Pavilion, Huang Fei, came out, then handed Zhonglin the method she needed to access externally, and said angrily, all Buddhist teachings in the Sutra Pavilion need to be recorded by the elder on duty and returned to the Sutra Pavilion within 7 days. But now, Elder Lu is away for something, so Zhonglin takes over. Naturally, Zhonglin needs to record it. Huang Fei, what a great name for junior sister. But are you sure you want to choose the sword technique, Chengqing sword technique? If you choose this sword technique, you might as well choose the Lingshu sword technique. This sword technique is very fancy and there is nothing to practice. He had seen Chengqing sword technique in the past few days, but Zhonglin thought there was no need to learn its fancy sword moves. Practicing it is a waste of time. Really? Huang Fei looked at him suspiciously. Thinking that this senior brother had been teasing her just now, she became a little wary of Zhonglin. Of course, if you don't believe it, you can ask any elder. They will definitely think so. He kindly helped her find a profound swordsmanship, but she still didn't believe in herself. Zhonglin said that it is really difficult to be a good person. Seeing her senior brother's sincerity, Huang Fei hesitated a little. What if what the senior brother said is true? Huang Fei looked at the Chengqing sword technique, thought for a moment, then picked it up and walked into the Sutra Pavilion again. It seemed that he believed Zhonglin's words. Silly girl. I don't know which peak he is a disciple of. Zhonglin complained a little and lay down on the recliner again to rest. As expected, Huang Fei walked into the Sutra Pavilion again, put the Chengqing sword technique back to its original position, and began to look for the Lingshu sword technique. I hope senior brother didn't lie to me. Huang Fei's borrowing of skills was just an interlude for Zhonglin. After sunset, without the sunshine and the sky gradually darkening, Zhonglin finally ended his day's rest. Reluctantly, he got up from the recliner and stretched. Well, looking at the sunset on the horizon, Zhonglin sighed and sighed. It's still a comfortable life here. A perfect place to hang out with nothing to do. The next step is to prepare for a breakthrough. Now he is at the 8th level of the Earth Profound Realm, only 2 levels away from the Sky Profound Realm. He planned to break through to the Tianshuan realm in one fell swoop. The second day, on the Virgin Peak, Zhonglin sat cross-legged in a secret room. There are also some divine sources around, which contain sufficient energy for him to practice and make breakthroughs. Not only that, he also had some pills given to him by Old Man Cheng. A pill was thrown into Zhonglin's mouth. The Candle Sun Heavenly Fire Sutra was put into operation, and the energy contained in the elixir was frantically refined. The elixirs that Old Man Cheng gave him were also excellent elixirs. All contain huge energy. From Zhonglin's dantian, there was a blazing flame rising up. Gradually appeared on Zhonglin's body surface. The blazing high temperature suddenly increased the temperature of the entire chamber. The divine energy surrounding him also turned into energy under the guidance of Zhonglin, and surged towards his body. As time goes by, there are fewer and fewer divine sources around Zhonglin. The aura coming from his body became stronger and stronger. Boom! Suddenly, the whole secret room shook. An extremely terrifying coercion instantly enveloped the entire secret room, completely enveloping the entire secret room. Flames filled every corner of the secret room, turning the entire secret room into a red-gold color. Chapter 41. The aura is so strong that it makes one's heart palpitate. Behind him, the shadow of a huge dragon appeared. it opened its teeth and shook its head, making a roaring sound. The phantom of the dragon became more and more solid, as if it was about to rise into the sky. Break it for me. Zhong Lin squeezed the magic formula with his hands and let out a loud shout. The flames of the candle sun in his body also burst out with brilliant light at this time. 9th level of Earth Profound Realm. Zhong Lin finally broke through to the 9th level of the Earth Profound Realm. The 9th level of Earth Profound Realm is the last step left. Zhong Lin's body was filled with golden flames, and his eyes were shining. In the secret room, the spirit gathering formation was activated, and the majestic spiritual energy was poured into the secret room crazily at this time. The rich spiritual energy turned into spiritual mist and gathered around Zhong Lin. As time passed, the fog in the secret room became thicker and thicker. It can be seen that the spiritual energy in the secret room is so rich that even Zhong Lin has the illusion that the spiritual energy here seems to be condensed into a liquid state and turned into substance. The opportunity has come. Candle sun flame, refine it for me. As Zhong Lin roared angrily, the surging flames of the candle sun surged out of his body. At this moment, a dazzling sun formed in Zhong Lin's body, blooming with dazzling light. On the body of the dragon phantom, there are countless fire patterns flickering, and waves of tyrannical energy are constantly swimming on it. The dragon's shadow is absorbing the huge energy in the secret room, and at the same time, it is also devouring the spiritual energy in the secret room. The 4 bulges on the body were also slowly squirming at this time, as if trying to break through the restraints. Unfortunately, although the 4 bulges made some movement, they still did not break through and were just trembling continuously. The surrounding divine sources completely disappeared, and the majestic energy and aura were swallowed up by the dragon's shadow. Melt. At Zhong Lin's order, the shadow of the body behind him shook violently, turned into a ball of light, and penetrated directly into Zhong Lin's body. The barrier that prevented him from breaking through to the sky profound realm was completely shattered at this moment. A majestic and vast force, like a vast ocean, filled Zhong Lin's body. At this moment, Zhong Lin felt like he was punching through the sky. Of course, this is just an illusion. If you are still in the Tianquan realm and want to shatter the sky, it is simply a dream. In the hot secret room, Zhong Lin felt the endless and mighty power in his body. Ha 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 ha, a hearty laughter sounded, making the entire secret room tremble slightly. If you break through, get out quickly, it's time. Suddenly, the old man Qing's curse sounded in the secret room. Hey, isn't this just a breakthrough? Also, old man, why are you in such a hurry? Hearing old man Qing's voice, Zhong Lin's laughter stopped abruptly, his face darkened, and he couldn't help complaining. However, despite complaining, Zhong Lin still took action and walked towards the outside of the secret room. Outside the secret room, old man Qing and senior Long Wu appeared here together. Breaking through to the sky profound realm, this movement is a bit big. It was even louder than Qingyao's movement back then. If I hadn't suppressed it, I'm afraid this secret room would have been overturned by him long ago. Old man Long Wu sighed as he looked at the closed door of the secret room in front of him. Old man Qing nodded. Yes, especially during this period, his cultivation has increased by leaps and bounds. This time I go to Tianlong Star, I'm afraid we won't be able to come back for decades. The holy land of Qingyan will be left to you, Xiao Qingzi. Speaking of Tianlongxing, old man Long Wu also had a hint of memory in his eyes. He also hasn't been back for a long time. Don't worry, it's just your body. If others don't know what Long Wu's condition is now, how can he not know? He is already old, and his end may be approaching soon. If it weren't for Zhong Lin and the 9 dragon glazed grass, I'm afraid he would have stayed in that small world forever. Relying on the energy of life, he continued to delay the consumption of his lifespan. Then in the end, he will be sealed by the divine source and left as the foundation of Qingyan Holy Land. And now, after leaving that small world, I'm afraid. Don't worry, we can still hold on for decades. 9 dragon glazed grass, we must get him. Whether it's without that girl Qingyao or for the Holy Land. Old man Long Wu's eyes were full of determination. This can be regarded as the last thing he did for the Holy Land before being sealed. Click. At this time, the door to the secret room opened. Zhong Lin walked out of the secret room with a smile on his face. Laugh, still laugh, you're almost wasting your time. Holy Lord Qing rolled his eyes at Zhonglin and said angrily. Did it take so long? Why do I feel that it only took so long? Zhonglin scratched his head. He felt it didn't take long. Is it possible that it only took 2 days to retreat? Okay, as long as we have a breakthrough, we don't care about the time. Let's go. Holy Master Qing obviously wanted to say something else, but Old Man Longwu on the side was the first to speak up. In this way, the old man Qing did not speak, but only glared at Zhonglin. Under the leadership of Old Man Longwu, the 3 of them went straight to Qingyanbak Mountain. Because the Tianlong clan is located on Tianlong Star, it is outside the territory. Therefore, if you want to go outside the territory, you can only borrow the extraterritorial teleportation array. Teleport them to a place near Tianlong Star through the extraterritorial teleportation array. Then Old Man Longwu took Zhonglin to Tianlong Star. Of course, there is no need to use the extraterritorial teleportation array. After becoming a quasi-sage, one can cross the void and cross the outside world. However, the universe is vast and boundless, and even if it is a holy being, it will take half a month to travel from Qingyan Holy Land to Tianlong Star. Therefore, the extraterritorial teleportation array is more convenient and is their best choice. Within the extraterritorial teleportation array, Zhonglin and Old Man Longwu stood there. Why, you can't bear to leave? Old Man Longwu looked at Zhonglin and teased. After taking one last look at Qingyan Holy Land, Zhonglin, who was about to leave, felt a little reluctant in his heart. Goodbye, Qingyao, wait me back. Yeah, I can't bear to part with it. I went out this time. I don't know when I will be able to come back next time. Zhonglin shook his head, looking quite melancholy. Don't worry, if you work hard, you'll be back in just a few decades. Old Man Longwu patted Zhonglin on the shoulder and said with a smile. HMPH, hurry up and leave. I'll get annoyed when I see you. I don't know what it means to respect the old and love the young. Outside the teleportation array, Old Man Qing also looked at Zhonglin with an impatient expression. Gone. The teleportation array was opened, and the 2 figures disappeared instantly, leaving only Zhonglin's last words. Smelly old man, take good care of Qingyao, or I will pluck out your beard when I come back. Extraterritorial. The universe is boundless, and in the vast universe, the endless energy of chaos sweeps across the entire world like seawater. Life is so small in the universe. It's like a small boat in the sea, swaying in the wind, with no stable place at all. Under the quasi-holy realm, in the void of the universe, there are extremely weak existences. Who knows when a chaotic wind will come and kill them all? Therefore, if you want to cross the universe and starry sky, you must at least be in the quasi-sacred realm. At this time, on a deserted planet, there was no trace of any sign of life, as if even the air smelled of death. This planet is a Death Star slightly closer to Draco. There is no life on the entire planet. Outside the planet is an endless void of space. On the black barren land, sudden, a faint blue light lit up on the ground. The blue light became stronger and stronger, and its true appearance was gradually revealed on the ground. It was a large formation, with blue runes covering the entire formation. Suddenly, a beam of light suddenly descended from the universe and landed on the formation. On top of the formation, blue lights shone. Immediately afterwards, 2 figures slowly rose from the formation and floated high in the sky. Is this outside the territory? It's so desolate, I can't feel the breath at all. Zhonglin, who was traveling far away for the first time, looked at the Death Star, which was filled with lifeless energy. Desolate and dead. There is no vitality at all, not even the slightest fluctuation of spiritual energy. This actually broke his understanding of the outside world and made him sigh. Yes, this Death Star is also the closest planet to Draco. We will be able to reach Tianlong Star soon. Compared to the Old Man Longwu who had long been accustomed to such scenes, it seemed very dull. There are countless planets like this in the universe, and he has seen planets even more desolate than this one. Let's go, there's nothing interesting about this Death Star. As he said that, Old Man Longwu grabbed Zhonglin's shoulders and flew away from the planet. Outside the 2 of them, within 3 feet of them, an invisible force enveloped them. With the presence of Old Man Longwu, Zhonglin was able to travel across the universe. If not, with Zhong Lin's cultivation, he would have been torn apart by the turbulence of the universe and shattered into pieces in an instant. Little guy, your physical strength is quite good. I'm afraid there are not many people in the same realm who can compete with you. Old man Long Wu looked at Zhong Lin with surprise in his eyes. Squeezing Zhong Lin's shoulders with his hands, Zhong Lin could clearly feel the bones on his shoulders cracking. This old guy's hands are really strong. If it weren't for his rough skin and thick flesh, it would probably hurt to death, and the old man wouldn't know how to hold back. Senior is joking. In front of you, Junior is just sprinkling water. Zhong Lin smiled slightly. Tien body tempering is no joke. Otherwise, his physical body would not have reached the level it is now. Ha 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 ha, boy, you are quite low-key. But your level is still too low. The first level of Tianxuan can only be ranked at the bottom among the group of main competitors vying for the identity of Longzi. The physical body alone is not enough. The demon clan itself is physically powerful, let alone the dragon clan of that day. Therefore, if Zhong Lin is only physically stronger, it may not be enough. However, Zhong Lin's only shortcoming now is that his level is too low. The physical strength was good, beyond his expectation. In terms of offensive skills, he may not be lacking much after staying in the Sutra Pavilion for so many days. And when you get to the Tianlong clan, you can learn other techniques, so it's not a big problem. Regarding weapons, Xiao Qingzi said that he had a quasi-sacred weapon, which was enough. Just tell me, who in the Tianxuan realm can have a quasi-sacred weapon to protect themselves? Moreover, it was completely refined by him. Even if he could not use all the power of the quasi-sacred weapon, he still had few opponents in the same realm. Taken together, Zhong Lin is good in every aspect now, and can be said to be perfectly equipped. However, his cultivation level is too low, which makes him quite helpless. Zhong Lin couldn't help but grin when he heard this. Junior understands that he will work hard to practice and break through to the realm of kings as soon as possible. Low level, the Tianxuan realm does seem to be a bit low. But it's not that there is no chance. As long as he is given sufficient resources and a certain amount of time, he will be able to break through sooner or later. By the way, there's also the dragon's blood baptism. After entering the Hualong Pond, you can hold on as long as you can. The longer you hold on, the more benefits you will get. You can only enter the dragon transformation pond once in your life, so seize this opportunity. Ordinary dragons will not be able to enjoy this treatment. Remembering his promise to Zhong Lin to let him undergo a dragon blood baptism, Old Man Long Wu also spoke to Zhong Lin said. Dragon blood baptism is extremely important to every demon clan who can enter the dragon transformation pond for baptism. Because this is related to future growth. Dragon blood baptism is an opportunity for transformation. Transform the bloodline and activate the power of bloodline in the body. Dragon blood baptism. I know, I just don't know if this dragon's blood baptism can completely transform me. Thinking of the 4 bulges that were born in his own body, he felt a little sad. If nothing else, I am afraid that only when he breaks through to the king's realm can he be completely conceived. Only when those 4 dragon claws are fully gestated can he be called a true dragon. With the help of Hualongqi, he should be able to completely transform. Hearing this, Old Man Long Wu nodded slightly. The dragon's blood baptism should be enough to completely transform you, and even your bloodline can be sublimated to a certain extent. With that said, the 2 of them turned into a stream of light in the universe and headed straight for the dragon star. At the same time, within the dragon star, in the ancestral land of the Tianlong clan. In a majestic palace, a tall middle-aged man wearing a golden robe, with piercing eyes and a look of vicissitudes of life on his face, sat at the top. An invisible sense of oppression pervaded his body, as if the world was under his control. Tell me, what do you think about this matter? The middle-aged man spoke slowly, his voice was steady and powerful, full of infinite majesty. The golden robe he was wearing was surrounded by a golden dragon, which was lifelike, as if it were a real giant dragon entrenched in the dragon robe. Report to the clan leader. Although the enshrined elder is also an elder of our clan, he has not shown up for more than 2,000 years. But now, when he shows up, he will occupy a quota to enter the Hualong Pond. What do you think of this? What do you think? Of course I saw it with my eyes. Outside the main hall, An old voice came, and immediately two figures walked slowly over. One step after another, with each step, the space seemed to ripple slightly, making a slight popping sound. The sound of footsteps echoed in the hearts of everyone in the hall, making everyone's hearts tighten. Unknowingly, the two of them had arrived at the main hall of the hall. "I've seen the Dragon King." The visitors were none other than Zhong Lin and Mr. Long Wu. Long Wu's face was gloomy, his eyes swept across the people in the hall, and finally fell on the middle-aged man sitting on the main seat, and said, "Dragon King, the leader of the Tianlong clan, also known as the Dragon King. Although the strength of the contemporary Dragon King is not as good as his, there is no doubt about his identity." As soon as Long Wu appeared, the person who had just opened his mouth to question him immediately fell silent and retreated into the crowd. "Uncle Wu, is this little guy your candidate?" The middle-aged man with a serious face nodded at the main seat, then looked at Zhong Lin who was following him and asked. "First level of Tianshuan realm, dragon bloodline, not bad, but the realm is a bit low." Under his perception, the young man in front of him had nothing to hide. Having the blood of a dragon, he is qualified to compete for the position of Dragon Son. As soon as the current Dragon King finished speaking, dozens of people in the hall immediately focused their attention on Zhong Lin. There is goodwill, malice, disdain, and indifference. The tremendous pressure hit his face, making Zhong Lin's breathing quicken. "It seems like these people don't like us too," Zhong Lin muttered in his heart. However, in the face of everyone's gaze, Zhong Lin remained calm and calm. The realm of the first level of Tianshuan is nothing more than this. How can he still want to occupy the quota to enter Hualong Pond? In the main hall, an elder said sarcastically, "Elder worshipper, you are old and your eyesight is dazzled." Bar. "Yes, elder worshipper, you know how precious the quota to enter the Hualong Pond is. Is it possible that a person who has just entered the Tianshuan realm can hope to get a quota to enter the Hualong Pond?" Another person echoed. The tone was full of dissatisfaction. "The quota to enter Hualong Pond is so precious. The previous quotas were not even enough for them." As a result, the worshipping elder who had not shown up for thousands of years suddenly asked for one. "Since he was powerful and had a high status, I just gave it to him." But who would have known that the place to go was actually given to this boy who had just entered the Tianshuan realm? How could they be content with this? In this case, they couldn't help but laugh. "What, are you not convinced?" Old man Long Wu thought that he was not a good-tempered person, especially since his end was approaching and he was in a state where he would not give in to anyone. He immediately snorted coldly. "If you are not convinced, just fight me. After a fight, if we win, I will turn around and leave. If you lose, don't even want the quota in your hands." The strong words immediately silenced the entire hall. Some people who were dissatisfied also shut their mouths instantly. "Fight with this old guy. Don't be stupid, he is an old guy who has run out of energy. Not only can't he beat him, but even if he can beat him, what can he do? Didn't you hear what the current Dragon King called this old guy? Uncle Wu. Dear fifth uncle. Ha, what a bunch of cowards." No one in the hall dared to respond, and old man Long Wu was too lazy to continue talking to them. Seeing this situation, the Dragon King Long Yao above him shook his head helplessly. The character of his fifth uncle was getting more and more popular as he got older. "Okay, fifth uncle, it will be the day to enter the Hualong Pond in 3 days. When the time comes, I hope this little guy can give us a surprise." Long Yao looked at Zhong Lin. "To be able to bring out the fifth uncle who has been hiding for thousands of years, I am afraid that the boy in front of me is not as simple as it seems now. You bunch of cowards, let me tell you this little guy the first brought here is invincible at the same level. If you are 2 levels higher than him, you won't be his opponent." Old man Long Wu seemed to have not finished venting yet. He pointed at Zhong Lin and said to them crazily. As soon as he said this, Zhong Lin, who was following him, suddenly raised his head, and his eyes froze slightly when he looked at old man Long Wu. After old man Long Wu said these words, countless eyes in the hall immediately focused on him again. It made Zhong Lin's scalp tingle a little. This guy is boasting a bit too much. Invincible in the same situation, although not invincible, he felt as if no one could be his opponent. Furthermore, if you are 2 realms higher, can you still win steadily? This is not what he said. At this time, Lin really wanted to tell Old Man Long to stop talking. If he kept talking, he might have become a public enemy among his peers as soon as he came to the Tianlong clan. You were right, Mr. Zhang. Tell them. The matter was not too big, so Old Man Long Wu shouted at Lin again. Lin suddenly smiled bitterly, and could only bite the bullet, walked to the center, and spoke loudly. Seniors and Junior Lin, we are confident that we are invincible in the same situation. No matter who comes, this junior is invincible. Although this was not my intention, since I had already said it, I had no choice but to bite the bullet. Confidence is the peak of self-confidence. As soon as these words came out, everyone in the hall looked at Lin with different eyes. There were some elders with gloomy eyes and gradually rising auras. They were obviously irritated by Lin. Lin stood there, complaining secretly in his heart. Old Man Long had done him a terrible job this time. The atmosphere in the hall instantly solidified, as if it might explode at any time. At some point, Old Man Long Wu's eyes also flashed with a sharp light. After not coming back for so many years, he also wants to establish his authority for them. Don't think that he can't really do anything because he is old. Lian Po is old, can he still make a living? Lin, he was the one who got them into trouble. Kill the chicken to scare the monkey. Swords and crossbows were drawn, and the atmosphere in the hall was extremely tense. Old Man Long Wu's momentum reached its peak. Many of the elders present felt a huge dangerous aura enveloping their bodies. All right, it's all gone. At this time, Long Yao spoke calmly to stop the conflict that was about to break out. In that case, I will leave first. When it was time to stop, Old Man Long Wu calmed down and saluted Long Yao. Turning around, he took Lin away. After leaving the hall, Lin breathed a sigh of relief. Call, Old Man Long, you're killing me. Lin exhaled and couldn't help complaining. Old Man Long Wu glanced at Lin and smiled lightly. I'm telling you, take action when it's time to take action. What are you afraid of? I will take care of everything for you. Wulong Mountain, Old Man Long Wu's residence in Tianlongxing. Backyard, just find a place to live, I haven't been to this place for 1,000 years. Old Man Long Wu brought Lin here and said lightly. He has always been simple and disdainful of luxurious things, so he built a small courtyard in this place before. What a rich aura! Lin couldn't help but admire with a look of surprise on his face. The spiritual energy here is no worse than the spiritual energy on the Saintess Peak of Qingyan Holy Land. It's even more intense. Practicing in a place like this is like a fish in water. Old Man Long Wu glanced at Lin, smiled, and said, this place is pretty good, right? There were several people trying to rob this place from me, but I beat them away with just one punch. He raised his hand and waved his fist, smiling proudly. After that, the old man threw him a token and turned and left. Lin was the only one left in the small courtyard. The black token looked cold in Lin's hands. On the token, there are two big characters engraved, Long Wu. Obviously, this token also symbolizes the identity of Old Man Long Wu. So that Lin can act here. Lin's eyes fell on the token, which was carved with a golden dragon with teeth and claws, as lifelike as a living creature. Standing on the top of the mountain, Lin looked into the distance. There was a dragon aura lingering in the distance, and a huge figure was vaguely tumbling among it. The sound of dragons roaring in the sky faintly reached his ears. Moreover, there are several obscure figures in the clouds and mist, which are well hidden. If you don't observe carefully, you can't detect them at all. This Tianlong clan is much more powerful than I imagined. Feeling the mysterious and powerful aura one after another, Lin's pupils tightened and he couldn't help but sigh secretly. The strength of the Tianlong clan today is absolutely terrifying, but I don't know which one is stronger or weaker than Qingyan Holy Land. Hey, it's true that Old Man Long has become a public enemy as soon as he came here. Going to Hualong Pond in 3 days is both an opportunity and a risk. From Old Man Long's mouth, he also learned that Hualong Pond was located in a special place. Each time, only the chosen ones can enter. No one else, whether they are worshipping the elders or the current patriarch Dragon King, is allowed to enter the Hualong Pond. And he may have become a public enemy of the Dragon Clan at this time. If he goes in, he may cause a lot of trouble. Forget it, the soldiers will stop us, and the water will cover us. If you really want to trouble me, I will show them that I am not someone to be bullied. Zhang Lin snorted coldly when he thought of his many trump cards, his eyes flashing coldly. Hello, boy, you must be the person brought back by the fifth elder. Aren't you ashamed to talk so loudly that you are invincible? From behind, there were extremely wild sounds and chaotic footsteps. I saw a man wearing a black robe with a rebellious look on his face, walking over first. Behind him, there were several people following him, with mocking looks on their faces. Zhang Lin frowned slightly. What, impatient? I heard that you were very arrogant when you were in the Dragon Palace, and no one took you seriously. The man in black robe had two horns on his head. When he saw Zhang Lin's appearance, he immediately sneered. He looked at Zhang Lin with a sarcastic look on his face and narrowed his eyes slightly. When they walked in front of Zhang Lin, they were 1 meter apart and looked at each other. The man in black robe looked at Zhang Lin with a playful smile on his face. Boy, I heard that you are going to Hualong Pond. So what if it is, so what if it's not? Zhang Lin looked at the man in black robe with a flat look and asked. Tianshuan's second level realm, average strength. The two looked at each other without speaking, but there was a tit-for-tat atmosphere permeating the air. Especially the black man Long Ku, who made no secret of his malice towards Zhang Lin. His eyes full of provocation and teasing made people uncomfortable. Zhang Lin didn't know where he provoked Long Ku, and why he was so angry. Ha ha ha. Long Ku suddenly looked up to the sky and laughed wildly, his voice harsh. It turns out it was you who took away my place in the evolution dragon pool. Long Ku's eyes suddenly became cold. He stared at Zhang Lin, the anger in his eyes burning, as if he wanted to devour him. I said, a guy like you is not worthy of evolving dragon pool. It's you who took my place. Long Ku suddenly took action and grabbed Zhang Lin's collar. His speed was extremely fast, and dragon patterns appeared on his palms. The dragon clan is known for its physical strength. It can fight across levels and is extremely powerful. Even though they are only hybrids and earth dragons, they should not be underestimated. Zhang Lin's face darkened, and he struck out with a palm, and he collided head-on with Long Ku. The two forces collided with each other and made a loud bang. Long Ku took 3 steps back, and when he stabilized his body, he looked at Zhang Lin with a look of surprise on his face. Zhang Lin stood there instead, not taking a step back. Whose unfilial son is this? In a certain dojo. Old man Long Wu sipped the best tea in the cup and said lightly. If I read it correctly, they are the descendants of the old guy Diceratops. The second level of Tianshuan is not bad, but this character is too bad. HMPH. Another old man on the side snorted coldly. Even if there is a Hualong Pond for such a person, it will not help. By the way, fifth brother, why did you come out if you didn't stay in that holy place to retire? You are, the old man who called old man Long Wu fifth brother looked at him and said doubtfully. It's not that he hates Long Wu and doesn't want him to come back, but that he knows that fifth brother's life is short and doesn't want him to waste his time. Together with old man Long Wu, there are 3 people here, all with gray hair and dressed like octogenarians. What do you think of that kid? He didn't answer Lao Lu's question, but looked at the other 2 people. Among them, the old man who had never spoken had eyes so deep that he could not see the bottom, like a deep sea. Vicissitudes of life, deep. The potential is great. There is hope for Longzi, but the level is too low. His indifferent voice sounded slowly. Brother, you have already said that he has great potential. As for his realm, if you give him some time, he should be able to catch up. Hearing his elder brother's words, Long Wu also felt a sense of helplessness for the first time. Keep watching, okay. Boy, take another hit from me. Seeing that he was at a disadvantage, Long Ku suddenly became angry. I saw both his fists coming out, and the wind of his fists was like thunder, making a roaring sound. The air exploded, and the fist wind tore out air currents, forming circles of air waves all around. The power of one strike should not be underestimated. Zhang Lin frowned, and the look in his eyes became serious. It's really troublesome. Zhang Lin shook his head and sighed secretly in his heart. Before coming to Tianlong Star, he originally planned to keep a low profile. Unfortunately, it seems that it is impossible now. In that case, you're welcome. Zhang Lin's eyes shot out with an icy cold light, filled with murderous intent. In that case, don't blame me for being ruthless. After saying that, Zhang Lin tapped his toes on the ground, jumped up, and dashed forward. You little beast, how dare you do something? Long Ku's eyes flashed fiercely, and the expression on his face became ferocious. Die! Roar! Roar! Accompanied by two deafening roars, behind Long Ku, a huge double-horned dragon rose into the sky, baring its teeth and claws, roaring continuously. Boom! Zhang Lin's fist and Long Ku's fist clashed fiercely. There was a muffled sound. The fluctuations spread, the air exploded, and the air currents rolled, like a violent storm rushing out, rolling up waves of dust. The people around him fled in panic, with horror in their eyes. At the center of the fluctuation, the two fists met. Zhang Lin's face was calm, feeling the huge power transmitted from his fists. It's still too weak. Zhang Lin couldn't help but sigh secretly in his heart. It's over now, you're too weak. Zhang Lin shook his head. These words immediately made Long Ku furious. Call him weak. You, who is at the first level of Tianxuan, are you calling me, who is at the second level of Tianxuan, weak? This is simply unreasonable. Go to hell. Long Ku roared angrily, his spiritual energy surged throughout his body, he clenched his fists and slammed into Zhang Lin. His eyes were full of madness and cruelty, and his fists were fierce and powerful. Zhang Lin's eyes flashed coldly, his figure flashed and disappeared on the spot. Next moment, Lunar, point out with two fingers like swords. Tisk! There was a slight breaking sound, and a crack suddenly appeared on Long Ku's shoulder. Blood sprayed out, and a wound flew several feet into the air. Long Ku's expression changed drastically and he quickly retreated. The powerful body had no effect in front of Zhang Lin. With just one finger, his physical defense was broken. Zhang Lin's attack power was beyond imagination. Feng Qingyunden's finger didn't even cause him to feel any spiritual energy fluctuations. However, with just one finger, he penetrated the body that he had always been proud of. Are you coming again? This finger contained a slight amount of lunar power. Although it was only a small amount, it was enough to traumatize Long Ku. Regarding the use of the power of Tien, he has just started to use it and is not yet proficient, so he can only barely use it in some superficial ways. Brother Ku, are you okay? Seeing the wound on Long Ku's shoulder, the faces of several people changed drastically, and their eyes were full of worry. Although Long Ku's strength is not the strongest among contemporary people, he is definitely not weak either. He was actually injured by a single move. I'm fine, Long Ku said through gritted teeth, his expression extremely ugly. The wound on the shoulder was still bleeding out, which looked shocking. The white bones are vaguely visible, showing no signs of healing. Seeing that the wound had not healed at all, Long Ku was really angry this time. Especially the feeling of extreme cold that kept coming from his shoulders. He used his spiritual power to resist, but it still had no effect. Walk. Seeing that he was defeated by Zhang Lin, Long Ku didn't want to be entangled here anymore. If you continue to be entangled like this, you will only bring humiliation to yourself. If you want to cause trouble for me, you must first consider whether you are qualified. It's true that cats and dogs are all giving me trouble. Zhang Lin had a hint of sarcasm in his eyes. He glanced at Long Ku, then turned around and walked towards the small courtyard. If the other party wants to leave, he can't stop him. He can only leave him with a sarcastic comment. Long Ku's eyes suddenly turned red and his face turned pale. You, hearing Zhang Lin's sarcasm, his face was so gloomy that he seemed to be dripping with water. Okay, I remember you. Long Ku glanced at Zhang Lin fiercely, with murderous intent surging in his eyes. When you enter the Hualong Pond, let's see how arrogant you are. After saying the last cruel words, he left in embarrassment with a few mud-legged people around him. Zhang Lin didn't pay attention to their words. Since he dared to do it, he wouldn't be afraid of their revenge. What's more, he is not the kind of person who is afraid of getting into trouble. Good job, boy. The only pity is that the beating was too light. Broken arms and legs are nothing. Suddenly, Long Wu came out from behind Zhang Lin and said with a smile. Stroking his beard, they all saw the scene clearly. Especially Zhang Lin's finger made him feel amazed. With just one poke, Long Ku's body was broken open. All in all, not bad. It didn't embarrass him in front of those two people. What made him most regretful was that Long Ku had not broken his arm. If this matter had happened to him before, he would have destroyed Long Ku long ago. Old man, if I really kill him, I'm afraid I'll die on the streets tomorrow. Zhong Lin rolled his eyes at old man Long Wu. Judging from Long Ku's appearance, his status was probably not very low. Moreover, since he is fighting locally, he is a stranger. 18 generations of his ancestors have been here. If any of his ancestors came to visit him, he would be in trouble. From now on, if anyone comes to trouble you, as long as your cultivation is not ruined, I will support you in everything. The winner is the king, the loser is the bandit. What should you be afraid of? Don't say you crippled the kid just now, you crippled Long Yao's little daughter, and I'll carry it for you. Long Wu laughed loudly, looking like he was taking care of everything. Zhong Lin was speechless. Old man, can you exaggerate more? You dare to say such things. Are you sure you're okay? The Long Yao he was talking about, according to his understanding, should be the Dragon King he had seen before, right? Are you sure you can handle it if you cripple the Dragon King's daughter? Regarding these words of old man Long Wu, Zhong Lin was dubious. If the other party didn't have much status, old man Long Wu could handle it. But Zhong Lin didn't believe it at all when you said that he could survive the Dragon King's daughter being crippled. Looking at Zhong Lin, who didn't look back at him, old man Long Wu also knew that Zhong Lin didn't believe what he said. As if he had thought of something, a cunning light flashed in old man Long Wu's eyes, and he chuckled twice. Boy Zhong, in 2 days, I will introduce you to someone. I'm telling you, if you know her, even if you hurt Long Yao's daughter, Long Yao won't do anything to you. Zhong Lin couldn't help but curl his lips with his confident words. He didn't believe it. This old man kept talking nonsense all day long. These are some secret techniques of the Tianlong clan, learn them carefully. Just remember not to spread the word. In the small courtyard, old man Long Wu returned to his lazy look, lying on the recliner and wandering leisurely. Just now, he handed over some secrets of the Tianlong clan to Zhong Lin. These secret techniques of the Tianlong clan will definitely be of great benefit to your practice. By the way, old man Long Wu, tell me who are the people who compete with me for Long Zi. I still don't know how many people have been hindered by my appearance. Zhong Lin said to the old man Long Wu while swallowing the spiritual energy around him. Zhong Lin was also a little curious about his competitors. Now, he doesn't know anything about those competitors, not even their names. Then let me tell you once. Old man Long Wu slowly sat up and began to tell Zhong Lin the secrets of the Tianlong clan. The Tianlong clan, countless years ago, was actually a force formed by the gathering of the Celestial Dragon clan and countless other Earth Dragon races. Now, it has become an inseparable whole. Long Zi, to be precise, is the successor of the next Dragon King. So, becoming a dragon son is the goal of countless dragon clans. Especially this time, the battle between Long Zi is extremely fierce, and the clan attaches great importance to it. Old man Long Wu briefly talked about the history of the Tianlong clan. Isn't the current Dragon King still in middle age? Why did you suddenly choose Long Zi? Zhong Lin frowned. This was a crucial question. If Long Yao has begun to enter his old age, it would be normal to select Long Zi at this time. But now, Dragon King Long Yao is in his prime, and his lifespan is at least 4,000 to 5,000 years. At this time, it would be too early to select Ryoko. This question, old man Long Wu paused and frowned when he heard Zhong Lin's question. What's wrong? Could it be that there is something hidden in it? Seeing the appearance of old man Long Wu, Zhong Lin's heart tightened and he quickly asked. Of course there is a hidden secret, but it is not a hidden secret. Everyone knows this. Old man Long Wu's expression looked extremely serious. Actually, the current Dragon King, Long Yao, is not the previous Long Zi. He was once Long Zi's most powerful competitor, but in the end, Long Zi was not him. That person is very powerful and talented. He suppresses many of his peers and makes it difficult for them to hold their heads high. Just when we thought he could lead our Tianlong clan to the top, he disappeared. Inexplicably disappeared. At this point, Zhong Lin could clearly feel a sadness coming from old man Long Wu. Long Wu's sadness definitely comes from the heart. Disappeared. How is this possible? Zhang Lin frowned slightly, a little confused. He didn't think that the previous Long Zi would disappear for no reason. And if he can compete to become a dragon son and defeat his peers, his strength will definitely not be much worse. How could such a character disappear inexplicably? Yeah, how is that possible? But that's what happened. After he disappeared, we used the entire clan to find him. But what's the result? It's like he disappeared from the world, and there has been no news. Some even said he was dead. But we don't believe that he is dead, because he is the pride of the Tianlong clan and the hope of our Tianlong clan. How could he die? As he spoke, old man Long Wu slammed the table and shouted angrily. Feeling a little emotional, it seemed that this scene reminded him of past events. Seeing old man Long Wu's mood swings, Zhang Lin quickly comforted him. Old man, calm down, calm down. Under Zhang Lin's comfort, the emotional old man Long Wu calmed down a lot. He looked at Zhang Lin and smiled bitterly. Okay, let's not talk about this anymore. Long Yao will succeed to the position of Dragon King later. There is nothing to say. But, in short, the position of Dragon King belongs to Longzi, and now that it is the Golden Age, the fight for Longzi has begun. After taking a few sips of tea, the old man Long Wu gradually calmed down and continued. With your strength, I think anyone below the 3rd level of Tianshuan will not pose any threat to you. There are 5 people you should really pay attention to. Each of them is at the lowest level of the 5th level of Tianshuan. The strongest one is even stronger than that girl Qingyao. She is already at the 9th level of Tianshuan and is almost on the verge of breaking through to the realm of kings. Among them, with your current strength, it is impossible for you to be their opponent. So, you'd better be careful. They are all geniuses from the major dragon clans, and each of them is extremely powerful. Old man Long Wu's reminder made Zhang Lin's expression slightly condensed. Especially when he heard that the strongest one actually reached the 9th level of Tianshuan, Zhang Lin was secretly shocked. The 9th level of Tianshuan is higher than Qingyao's strength. Its combat power may not be like this. Who are those 5 people? The strongest one, Long Yao's youngest son, Long Jiyu, is at the 9th level of Tianshuan. Long Yao has given birth to a good son. He is also your strongest opponent in the fight for Long Zi. The other 4 people include the fool's eldest brother just now, the leader of the double-horned dragon clan, Longmu, the 6th level Tianshuan, and the poisonous dragon python clan. As he kept talking about Zhang Lin's competitors, old man Long Wu's expression became more and more serious. Judging from Zhang Lin's strength, the strength of these 5 people is not something he can resist at all. Especially Long Jiyu is a powerful enemy among powerful enemies. Of course, this is not impossible. Hualong Pond, will they also go in? Suddenly, Zhang Lin seemed to have thought of something. He didn't want to meet and fight with them so soon. Don't worry about this. They have already experienced the baptism of dragon blood in the dragon transformation pond, so they will not appear in the dragon transformation pond. And the Hualong Pond is also a shortcut for you to improve your cultivation. In that place, you will be able to quickly improve your strength. 10 years, Mr. Zhang, you only have 10 years. In 10 years, when Long Zi competes, you must win. For the sake of the Kowloon glazed grass in the Kowloon secret realm, Zhang Lin must win. Must become a dragon. Don't worry, old man, I will definitely win in 10 years. Zhang Lin nodded. The position of dragon son must be mine, and it can only be mine. Knowing the importance of 9 dragon glazed grass, Zhang Lin also understood that he could not lose. Must win. Does the position of dragon son belong to you? Yes. Are you the strongest? Yes. So, would you like to introduce me to a girl? Want. Don't want. Old man Long Wu asked him several questions in a row, and Zhang Lin responded subconsciously. However, after he answered the last question, he realized something was wrong. He instantly raised his head and looked at old man Long Wu. After reacting, he quickly denied it. No, I didn't say anything. Old man Long Wu didn't listen to Zhang Lin's explanation and just laughed. The recliner swayed back and forth, and old man Long Wu was in a very happy mood. I'm telling you, that girl's status is not low, and she doesn't have a Taoist companion. She's going to find a Taoist partner sooner or later anyway, so I might as well let you try. What if it happens? Old man Long Wu closed his eyes and said lazily. Ah, Zhang Lin was speechless. But he simply stopped paying attention to Old Man Long Wu. There was nothing serious about this old man. Like Old Man Long Wu, Zhonglin was also lying on the recliner, breathing in and out of spiritual energy. Rich spiritual energy kept pouring into his body, and there was a layer of mist surrounding him. Wisps of the power of the sun continued to temper his body and soul in his body. Especially the divine soul. The fragile divine soul was tempered by the power of the sun, and felt bursts of pain, constantly stimulating him. Everyone knows that the soul is the most fragile place. The strength of the soul determines the strength of the monk. Except for a few practitioners, they will cultivate their souls and become extremely powerful. Most of them rely on strength to become stronger, and the soul also becomes stronger. The soul is the lifeblood. When you have strong enough strength, even if the body is destroyed, if the soul is immortal, you can still be resurrected. And if the soul is gone, then no matter how strong the body is, it is just a corpse. The importance of the soul can be said to be of vital importance and cannot be ignored. You used the power of the sun to temper your soul and found a new way. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the 9-Yang Soul Refining Technique. 9-Yang Soul Refining Technique. It can absorb the power of the sun between heaven and earth, temper the soul, and make the soul achieve a qualitative transformation. The sun is hanging in the sky, and the sun's rays are faintly shining down. 9-Yang Soul Refining Technique, an unexpected surprise. He just happened to try to temper the soul with the power of the sun, hoping to make the soul stronger. 9-Yang Soul Refining Technique, what a great technique. Although his expression remained unchanged, Zhonglin was also a little happy in his heart. After absorbing the power of the sun and tempering the soul, Zhonglin could no longer feel the burning pain from the soul after possessing the 9-Yang Soul Refining Technique. Instead, there was a warm feeling coming from the soul. This boy can really bring me some unexpected joy. The power of the sun can actually be used by him for practice, it's amazing. Feeling something strange around him, there was suddenly a burning sensation in the air, and Old Man Long Wu could feel it clearly. Tracing back to the origin, he set his sights on Zhonglin, who was standing aside. The violent power of the sun penetrated from Zhonglin's skin bit by bit and penetrated into it. Under the gaze of Old Man Long Wu, a faint golden light also appeared on the surface of Zhonglin's skin. In the eyes of Old Man Long Wu, the power of the sun is violent, like a wild horse that runs wild, unruly and difficult to tame. Old man, why are you looking at me like that? Zhonglin seemed to feel the gaze of Old Man Long Wu, and Zhonglin couldn't help but open his eyes. When he opened his eyes, he saw Old Man Long Wu looking at him with a strange expression. Why does the old man feel a little weird when he looks at him? It's okay, kid, can you tell me how you use the power of the sun? Old Man Long Wu discovered that this kid can really surprise him from time to time. Just do it like this. It's not that hard. As he spoke, Zhonglin stretched out his fingers and received a trace of the power of the sun. The power of the sun lingered on Zhonglin's fingertips. Tisk, 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 that's amazing. Old Man Long Wu kept praising when he saw such a surprising scene. Fifth Grandpa. Just as Old Man Long Wu came closer to watch the power of the sun on Zhonglin's finger, a sweet cry echoed across the top of the mountain. I saw a girl flying over and pounced directly on the Old Man Long Wu, who was lying on the recliner. Oh, my precious granddaughter. Seeing this sudden intrusion, Old Man Long Wu suddenly smiled and quickly held the girl in his arms. Fifth Grandpa, I miss you so much. The girl hugged Old Man Long Wu and said coquettishly. Old Man Long Wu also smiled and stroked the girl's hair, and said with a smile, Xiaonizi, you are really getting better and better at pleasing the old man, but I like it. Kekeki. The girl had a smile as bright as a flower, a pair of big eyes, staring closely at the white beard on Old Man Long Wu's chin. She touched the beard without leaving any trace with her palm, and giggled, Fifth Grandpa, you don't want to come back to see me, you still want me. Come to you. Hearing this, Old Man Long Wu immediately grimaced and said with a pleading look, My dear daughter, it's not that Grandpa Wu doesn't want to go. You also know that I, Grandpa, have just come back. There is nothing I can do about it. Please forgive Wu. Grandpa. Snort. Pulling the Old Man Long Wu's beard, the girl pretended to be angry and said, I don't forgive you. You've been back for a long time and you haven't come to accompany me. I miss you. Okay, fifth grandpa won't leave here. The little princess comes to play often, okay. Old man Longwu said with a smile on his face. Fifth grandpa, what is this little brother's name? At this time, the little girl in old man Longwu's arms turned and looked at Zhong Lin, who was looking shocked. Zhong Lin also looked at the little girl in old man Longwu's arms with some surprise. He has a petite face, probably about 7 or 8 years old, with 2 braids soaring into the sky, his small mouth is slightly raised, and his pink face is full of childlike features. A pair of big eyes full of agility, making people laugh. This is. Zhong Lin also looked at the little girl in front of him with some confusion. Her name is Long Yu, the youngest daughter of the Long Yao family. Looking at the little girl in his arms, old man Longwu showed a loving smile that Zhong Lin had seen on his face for the first time. Dragon language, the Dragon King's little daughter. Hearing her identity, Zhong Lin looked at Longwu fiercely. He remembered that old man Longwu told him that even if he broke the leg of the Dragon King's youngest daughter, he could bear it. And now, Zhong Lin looked at old man Longwu's loving look, and he obviously liked this little girl very much. Not to mention whether Zhong Lin dared to break the little girl's legs. Even if he did, it is estimated that old man Longwu didn't carry it off for him, but came to trouble him personally. Old man Long, haven't you been back for 1,000 years? How do you know her? Zhong Lin was a little confused. He didn't understand that old man Long still knew this 7 or 8-year-old girl after not coming back for thousands of years. Hey, I met Xiao Yuer before we left. Later, I left, and Xiao Yuer was sealed by Long Yao with his divine source. Old man Longwu stroked Long Yu's little head and said softly, "Look, Xiao Yuer has grown into such a beautiful little girl, hasn't she?" Yes. Long Yu grabbed his beard and said sweetly, "Fifth grandpa, my brother is disobedient, can you give him a break?" As he spoke, Long Yu waved his fists with a fierce look on his face. When Long Yu said this, Zhong Lin was immediately startled. She has a younger brother. Old man Longwu grinned happily at this time and laughed loudly. Ha ha ha, okay, grandpa, I will beat him up tomorrow. Make him disobedient, this feeling. In a secret room, a figure is soaked in a mysterious spiritual spring. Suddenly he opened his eyes, and a flash of doubt flashed in his golden pupils. He placed his palms on his chest. Just now, an ominous premonition suddenly arose in his heart. I'm afraid it's my sister who's going to complain to someone again. Why, Xiao Yuer and the old man just talked about the dragon story. The two of them are a pair of twins. A few years after he was born, he was sealed by the divine source. However, over the years, Long Jiyu was first unsealed, and Xiao Yuer was unsealed only recently. This also leads to the fact that Xiao Yuer is obviously her sister's, but she is still young, and Long Jiyu, who is her younger brother, is already an adult. As for the relationship between Long Yu and Long Jiyu, old man Longwu didn't hide anything, he just told everything. The relationship between your family is really great. Regarding Long Yu's family's miraculous operation, Zhong Lin could only say one thing, admiring him. Xiao Yuer, my name is Brother Zhong. Zhong Lin looked at Long Yu and nodded. He was indeed very cute. As if thinking of something, Zhong Lin took out a spiritual fruit and handed it to Long Yu, saying softly to her. Hello, Brother Zhong. Brother Zhong is so handsome. Can Brother Zhong go and beat up Long Jiyu? Long Yu took the spirit fruit, winked at Zhong Lin with a smile, and said. As soon as he changed his words, he looked vicious again. I don't know what kind of hatred the two siblings have, but Long Yu has always had the obsession to beat up his younger brother Long Jiyu. Okay, Xiao Yuer, fifth grandpa will take you to play. I'll take you to catch grandpa's earth spirit chicken and eat it. Old man Longwu put Long Yu on the ground and said with a smile as he walked out. Okay. Long Yu jumped up excitedly and followed old man Longwu towards the distant courtyard. The two horn braids are shaking up and down, jumping up and down, cute like an angel. Looking at her background, Zhong Lin also shook his head and smiled. He didn't expect that his strongest competitor would actually have such a young sister. However, now is not the time to think about such things. In 2 days' time, it would be the day to enter Hualong Pond, and he had to prepare early. At that time, we will not face a group of good people. The essence and blood of the heavenly flood dragon will depend on you for these 2 days. The only thing that could allow him to quickly improve his cultivation was the drop of the dragon's essence and blood in his body. Back to room. He was not afraid of being disturbed, so he just sat there cross-legged and continued to refine the essence and blood of the dragon in his body. Of course, being interrupted is unlikely to happen here. You know, this is the residence of Elder Long Wu. Who dares to be arrogant here? Under Zhong Lin's urging, the drop of dragon essence and blood in his body began to disperse slightly, and the power of essence and blood began to flow into Zhong Lin's body. A warm current rose from the dantian, spreading along the tendons and all the way to the limbs and bones. The candle sun has flames, reaching as high as burning heaven and as low as Juyu. The Zuri Heavenly Fire Sutra began to operate silently and began to swallow up the strands of heavenly dragon's essence and blood in his body. With each ray he refined, Zhong Lin could feel it becoming stronger at a speed visible to the naked eye. On the surface of his body, there are golden lines faintly emerging. But the golden lines only appeared on a small section of Zhong Lin's left arm. There are no golden lines on his right arm or chest. Ding, you practice Dragon Golden Body Technique, and feel that it is not strong enough and is not very suitable. Congratulations to the host for understanding True Dragon Body Refining. It's only been a short section, there's still a lot to go. After refining the body with a real dragon, dragon patterns will appear all over the body, and every inch of skin will be covered by dragon patterns. When dragon patterns are spread all over the body, it represents the great achievement of magical power, which can rival the body of a real dragon. Now, Zhong Lin has only managed to cultivate a small amount, and he only achieved it with the help of the essence and blood of the heavenly dragon in his body. It's just that, even though I have only cultivated a few true dragon marks, I can feel that my body has really become stronger. Although the changes are very small, this feeling cannot be deceived. Zhong Lin secretly guessed in his heart, and at the same time, he was also thinking about how to perfect himself and become stronger. Not just the physical body, but also the soul. Of course, this is an extremely long process. It's never something that can be accomplished overnight. Within the valley, there are young dragons soaring in the sky, birds leaping, and elk running. The mountain streams are filled with white mist, and the rich aura wraps the entire valley. In the deepest part of the valley, 3 bamboo houses are hidden in the clouds and mist, looming. In a small lake next to the bamboo house, there are thousands of golden dragons and carp swimming, jumping out of the water from time to time. Uncle, what do you think about 5th uncle bringing people to participate in the fight for Longzi? Standing by the lake, Long Yao, wearing a golden dragon robe, looked at the old man sitting in the pavilion and asked. Lao Wu also told me about this. Their target this time is the 9 dragon glazed grass in the 9 dragon secret realm. Whether the young man Zhang has become a dragon or the old son has become a dragon, he must get it and give it to Qingyan Holy Land. The old man in the pavilion is the old man whom the old man Long Wu called his eldest brother before. The old man sat there and just said lightly. As he said, the Tianlong clan owes Qingyan Holy Land a huge favor. The fact that they sent 9 dragon glazed grass to Qingyan Holy Land also meant that the favor between them was offset. But if Zhong Lin becomes Longzi, the meaning will be different. Zhong Lin is a blood dragon, so he should be qualified to compete for the position of Dragon Son. This is normal. I've seen that, Mr. Zhang. It's not bad, but his level is a bit low. Under the same realm, it is difficult to defeat an opponent. Huolongqi, in 10 years' time, he should not pose any threat to my father. After hearing this, Long Yao also relaxed. This person has said that there is no problem. Then I guess there is really no problem. Between them and Qingyan Holy Land, really. Why, 3 days passed by in a blink of an eye. Today is the day to enter Huolong Pond. Boy Zhang, come with me. I'm telling you, if anyone dares to cause trouble for you in Huolong Pond, you will break his legs. Don't let them think we are easy to bully. In the air, old man Long Wu carried Long Yu on his back, facing Zhong Lin beside him, solemnly giving instructions. Huolong Pond can only last for 7 days, and every minute and second spent entering Huolong Pond is extremely precious. Don't be delayed for too long. Anyone who stands in the way will be disabled. 5th Grandpa, I heard from Dad that it seems that only 5 people will go in this time. Including Brother Zhang, there are 4 more people. Long Yu, who was lying on the back of old man Longwu, pointed his fingers and sounded a clear and sweet voice. Brother Zhang is very powerful, he can definitely do it. When Brother Zhang comes out, I must help Xiao Yuer beat up Long Ji Yu. Long Ji Yu is just a disobedient child. While praising Zhang Lin, Xiao Yuer still wanted to let them beat up Long Ji Yu. As everyone knows, with Zhang Lin's current strength, I'm afraid it wasn't him who went to fight Long Ji Yu, but Long Ji Yu who beat him. Good. Wait until brother comes out, and brother will avenge you. Looking at Xiao Yuer, who was full of childlike smile, a gentle smile appeared on the corner of Zhang Lin's mouth. Yeah, Long Yu nodded vigorously. Under the leadership of old man Long Wu, the 3 of them headed towards the deepest part of the Tianlong clan. A vast aura permeates the surroundings, and an increasingly ancient aura assaults the nostrils. Zhang Lin's figure passed by from high in the sky, his eyes sweeping over the hundreds of thousands of mountains below, a trace of fear flashing in his eyes. In this 100,000 mountains, he felt several obscure and powerful auras. They came like the wind and left without a trace. Although Zhang Lin only keenly captured the existence of these breaths, the next second it seemed to be an illusion and something that had never happened before. However, this was enough to shock Zhang Lin. Hidden secrets, aren't these all old monsters from the Tianlong clan? Zhang Lin murmured secretly in his heart. He found that he still underestimated the foundation of the Tianlong clan. As expected of the Tianlong clan, there are even so many old monsters. There are quite a few people joining in the fun. In the surrounding sky, streams of light flashed from time to time, or various types of giant dragon figures flew by. The roar of the dragon resounded through the sky, shaking the entire world, as if it was about to overturn the sky. The earth dragon species, which is extremely rare in the domain, can be seen everywhere at this moment. Giant dragons are circling and flying, exuding endless fierce power. 5th Grandpa, we're here. Long Yu's little hand pointed in a certain direction. I saw a majestic palace standing on the top of the mountain in the distance. This palace is surrounded by a strong dragon aura. The portal of the palace was also made of pure dragon crystal, shining with bright divine light. This is the Hualong Hall, and the Hualong Pond is in this Hualong Hall. Gravity seems to have increased. When Zhang Lin crossed a certain limit, an inexplicable gravity pressed on him. His body felt much heavier, as if a huge burden was pressing on him. Don't be surprised. It's like this all around Hualong Palace, and once you get used to it, it will be good for your practice. As if he felt Zhang Lin's surprise, old man Long Wu smiled slightly and explained. Yes. Hearing the explanation of the old man from the dragon clan, Zhang Lin nodded, but when he looked at Long Yu, he suddenly realized. Long Yu, who was lying on the back of old man Long Wu, was still there. Waving his little hands excitedly, he seemed not to be affected at all. Soon, the 3 of them arrived at the foot of the mountain. The gravity at the foot of the mountain is even heavier. Of course, for Zhang Lin, the impact is not very big. With his body, this gravity is nothing to him. Let's go. There are restrictions on Hualong Mountain. You can't fly, you can only climb up. Bent over, carrying Long Yu on his back, old man Long Wu took the lead and walked towards Hualong Mountain. Zhang Lin took a look behind him before leaving. Many disciples of the Earth Dragon clan were behind, watching Zhang Lin and the others silently. On Hualong Mountain, people who are not qualified to enter Hualong Pond, except the elders, are not allowed to climb the mountain. So they could only watch Zhang Lin and old man Long Wu go away, not daring to get closer. Old man Long Wu carried Long Yu on his back and climbed towards Hualong Mountain step by step. Zhang Lin also followed. Hualong Mountain is like the legendary Buzhou Mountain. As you climb the mountain, the gravity on it becomes stronger and stronger. Even in the last half of the journey, Zhang Lin felt as if he was carrying a sacred mountain on his back. This gravity is a little strong. Zhang Lin felt his breathing quicken. He didn't expect that this seemingly ordinary Hualong Mountain would have such gravity. There is a feeling of carrying a sacred mountain on your back and walking into a quagmire. Looking at old man Long Wu, carrying Long Yu on his back, he still walked slowly and normally. What's more, as if on purpose, he kept a distance of 3 steps from Zhang Lin. It's really surprising. Although I knew that Mr. Zhang was physically strong, I had no idea that he could reach this point. Old man Long Wu, who was walking in front, secretly observed Zhang Lin behind him, feeling a little surprised. He is very aware of the gravity on Hualong Mountain. They have now reached the middle and late stage, and the pressure is even more than they can handle even at the late stage of Tianshuan realm, and Zhang Lin is just breathing a little short of breath. This physical body is comparable to that of the Earth Dragon clan at the peak of the Sky Profound realm. I don't know how this kid got it. He is just a little monster. I was amazed in my heart. Top of mountain. It's incredible that someone at the first level of Tianshuan can actually withstand such gravity suppression. The sixth elder stood in front of the Hualong Palace, looking at the slow-moving Zhang Lin below, with a hint of surprise in his old eyes. This little guy is really a monster. This physique, even my old son couldn't compare to him. The fourth elder standing outside Hualong Palace also sighed lightly, his tone full of emotion. You can have such strength at such an age. Even if you don't become a dragon, your future is limitless. The surrounding elders and Long Yao nodded slightly, agreeing with the fourth elder's words. Turning around to look at the four people behind them, they all had unruly expressions and arrogant eyes. I'm afraid these four little guys are not as good as the one brought by fifth brother. Although they don't know how far the four of them can go on Hualong Mountain, they still have some understanding of the people here. Sixth elder, we don't want to hear what you always say. What do you mean we don't go to him? He is only at the first level of Tianshuan, what is there to brag about? You brats, how can we not know what you are capable of? Put your butt up, and we'll know what you want to do. The sixth elder looked at their arrogant and unruly looks, and his eyes suddenly widened. Three little fools, in terms of strength, you may not be able to defeat them. Behind them were three tall, handsome men with unruly expressions and arrogant eyes. Especially after hearing the words of the sixth elder, their eyes were filled with anger. Compared with the three of them, the quiet girl next to them seemed very calm. Although this girl's appearance is not particularly stunning, she is quite attractive, especially her temperament, which is very comfortable to look at. And there is no arrogance at all, just like the girl next door. Don't be dissatisfied. If you have the ability, go climb Hualong Mountain. We have brought you up one by one. What else can you say? The second elder looked at the three of them and snorted coldly, with a very dissatisfied tone. He is very strong, you three are no match for him. Bu Ru, the woman who had been standing aside without speaking, suddenly spoke and said lightly to the three people. Sister Burrow, why do you say that? We can't build up other people's ambitions and destroy our own prestige. Keep walking and let me and them see your potential. They all think you are no match for Long Jiu. Now, it's time for you to prove it. Show them your potential. Old man Long Wu turned around and said solemnly to Zhang Lin. Zhang Lin, who was breathing rapidly and with a reddish complexion, raised his head and looked in the direction of the top of the mountain after hearing what old man Long Wu said. It was as if I could see the people on the top of the mountain through the mountain. Old man, you know how to trick me day by day. On his left arm, the real dragon pattern was looming under his clothes. Zhang Lin, who was slightly bent, slowly raised his head, with a hint of disdain in his eyes. Ding, under the huge gravity of Hualong Mountain, your true dragon body refining, training speed has increased. Sure enough, the next second, Zhang Lin felt that the speed of the real dragon body refining in his body increased again. Even the true dragon pattern on his left arm slowly appeared and spread towards his shoulder. As we get closer and closer to the top of the mountain, gravity becomes more and more terrifying. Even at the back, every time Zhang Lin took a step, all the bones in his body crackled, as if they were about to break. His face became extremely ugly, beads of sweat rolled down his forehead, and his body was trembling slightly. The pain from his body made his cheeks twitch. But compared to the physical pain, what surprised him even more was the transformation of the true dragon pattern. He felt the true dragon patterns on his left arm and found that they were about to spread to half of his left arm. Okay, that's it. Suddenly, old man Long Wu's voice sounded next to his ears. What followed was that the body relaxed. The terrifying gravity disappeared instantly, causing him to stagger a little and almost fall to the ground. Zhang Lin took a deep breath, stabilized his body, raised his head, and looked at old man Long Wu. It's a good place. It will be of great help to me for training. Zhang Lin, who had regained his breath slightly, looked at Old Man Longwu and sighed. If he could stay here for a long time, it would be a good thing for him. Take it and recover first. Old Man Longwu nodded, then smiled and said. As for this place, after you come out of the dragon transformation pond, I will let you stay here to practice for a while. Zhong Lin took the elixir handed over by Old Man Longwu and swallowed it in one gulp. This elixir entered his stomach, and immediately, a warm current spread through his limbs, and a feeling of relief spread throughout his body. The pain in his body also slowly decreased, making Zhong Lin couldn't help but stretch his body. Within a few seconds, Zhong Lin completely recovered. Let's go. This time, under the protection of Old Man Longwu, the gravity of Hualong Mountain was no longer suppressing him. The three of them arrived at the top of the mountain very easily. Here, he also saw several elders he had never seen before. As well as Dragon King Long Yao, there are 4 young people. Come to think of it, these 4 people are his competitors. As soon as Zhong Lin appeared, he instantly attracted everyone's attention. Among them, one of the 4 people had the biggest reaction. If you observe carefully, you can find that he looks very similar to Long Ku, whom Zhong Lin taught a few days ago. There is a sense of arrogance in his eyebrows, and his eyes when he looks at Zhong Lin are full of provocation and anger. Yes, he has a near kingly physique and a promising future. He can be called the proud son of heaven. The great elder also gave an extremely rare compliment, causing Bu Ru, the only female among the 4, to take an extra look at Zhong Lin. Thank you for the compliment, senior. Zhong Lin cupped his hands and fists at the great elder and glanced at the 4 people. Zhong Lin's eyes paused slightly on the man who looked like Long Ku. Zhong Lin narrowed his eyes slightly and raised the corners of his mouth. Chen Yuan, Long Ku's cousin. When Chen Yuan saw Zhong Lin looking at him, a look of ferocity flashed across his face. Little fool, you dared to humiliate Long Ku that day. Today, I will definitely beat you into a puddle of mud. Chen Yuan gritted his teeth and looked at Zhong Lin and thought in his heart, with a hint of viciousness in his eyes. Just looked around. Zhong Lin finally discovered that 3 of the 4 people didn't want to see him. Everyone looked at him with a hint of hostility, especially Chen Yuan, whose eyes were even more ferocious, wanting to pounce on him immediately and tear him into pieces. As for the last woman, Zhong Lin didn't feel any malice coming from her. It made him feel a little surprised. Zhong Lin arrived. At this point, all the personnel have arrived. The 5 people who entered Hualong Pond also had several elders from the Tianlong clan. Plus the Dragon King Long Yao and his daughter Long Yu. Okay, everyone is here, let's get ready to enter the Hualong Pond. 7 days, when the time comes, you must come out. After the great elder saw that everyone had arrived, he nodded slightly, then looked around and said calmly. After saying that, he turned around and walked towards the Dragon Transformation Palace. The others followed closely behind and followed the great elder towards the main entrance of Hualong Palace. Hualong Hall is a magnificent hall. There are many dragon patterns carved on the main hall, which are lifelike and full of endless momentum, making people feel awe. Especially the dragon energy lingering around them, spurting out from time to time, making everyone feel a sense of awe in their hearts. If there is anything unnecessary, I won't say anything else. Get ready. Chapter 51. Bang. The great elder took out a golden token from his arms and threw it into the air. Under the sunlight, the golden token bloomed with a burst of bright light, then exploded and turned into a golden cloud, covering the entire Hualong Palace. Around the Hualong Palace, many dragon patterns suddenly appeared. These patterns were intertwined to form the unique formation pattern of the Tianlong clan. Prepare. The great elder pinched the seal in his hand and gave a low shout. As the mark of his palm entered, dragon-shaped shadows suddenly appeared in the golden cloud. These dragon-shaped shadows kept shuttling in the air, and finally they were all injected into the Dragon Palace. Take action. Following the great elder's shout, the elders who had been waiting for him suddenly emitted a powerful wave, and they all used their spiritual power to bombard the Dragon Transformation Palace. Buzz. The Hualong Palace shook violently, and the surrounding dragon patterns also rotated crazily, forming a huge vortex in front of the Hualong Palace. The emergence of the whirlpool caused everyone to hear the sound of dragon roars from ancient times, echoing throughout the world for a long time. The dragon roars in the sky, resounding throughout the sky. When the dragon clan in the distance heard the roar of the dragon, they also looked up to the sky and roared. Respond, respect. For a time, the sound of dragon roar echoed throughout Jushao. Enter. There are only 7 days, and the exit will naturally appear after 7 days. The Great Elder, who was instilling spiritual power into the Huolong Palace, whispered to Zhong Lin and the 5 of them. At the same time, Zhong Lin looked at the whirlpool and no longer hesitated, turning into a stream of light and rushing straight in. Several other people, including Chen Yuan, also looked at each other, and then rushed into the Dragon Palace without hesitation. As all 5 of them entered the Huolong Palace, the Great Elder and others outside also stopped. How much they can gain in 7 days depends on their own luck. The Great Elder looked at the gradually disappearing visions around him, with a look of expectation on his face. Anyone who has entered the Huolong Pond has been blessed with heaven-reaching blessings. The transformation and evolution coming from the whole body is enough to make anyone crazy. I guess the one who gained the most is probably the boy brought by Lao Wu. That powerful physique is really unbelievable. Some elders recalled the scene when Zhong Lin climbed the mountain and felt a little shocked by his extraordinary physique. Yes, with that kind of tyrannical physique, even among us back then, who could reach that level? Others also praised him again and again. Old man Long Wu on the side couldn't help but feel a proud smile on his lips when he heard them praising Zhong Lin. He also felt very proud and proud. How about meeting what I brought? How about it? The moment Zhong Lin rushed into the whirlpool, he felt the world spinning. It was dark all around and nothing could be seen. He only felt a strong suction force devouring his body crazily, causing his body to fall downwards. He didn't know how long he had been falling, but Zhong Lin felt as if he had fallen into a swamp, and all his strength was being pulled away inch by inch. Soon, Zhong Lin felt his body suddenly lighten up, and his whole body regained its balance. When he opened his eyes, he saw that the surrounding scene had changed a lot. The blood-red hall exudes an inexplicable red light, giving people a depressing and strange feeling. Is this the Dragon Palace? But where is the Huolong Pond? Zhong Lin walked towards the main hall and frowned as he looked at the empty hall around him. In the main hall, there are only a few huge pillars, made of unknown materials, with dragon patterns engraved on them. At the same time, there are giant dragon corpses wrapped around each pillar, exuding a sense of coldness and chill. At the top of each pillar, there are 2 beads the size of millstones, emitting streaks of blood, as if containing an extremely rich bloody aura. What a strange place. The pace couldn't help but slow down, and Zhong Lin carefully observed the surrounding situation. There is no Huolong Pond in the Huolong Palace, which is also a strange thing. If I had known earlier, I would have asked old man Long Wu. Otherwise, I wouldn't be so confused now. Zhong Lin regretted a little. Before, he only knew about entering Huolong Pond, but he forgot to ask old man Long Wu what the specific situation was inside. Zhong Lin, watch your move. Suddenly, a cold shout came from behind him. The sense of crisis from behind made Zhong Lin's heart tremble. Immediately, he kicked his feet on the ground and quickly dodged to the side. But the man obviously didn't intend to give Zhong Lin a chance to breathe, and attacked him directly, with an extremely fast speed, and struck out with one palm. Violent spiritual power surged out of his hand, turning into a huge claw that covered the sky and clawed hard at Zhong Lin's chest. Roll. Zhong Lin's eyes turned cold instantly, and spiritual power surged crazily in his body. His body also exudes a faint golden glow. Blood-red scales emerge from his right fist, and a powerful force bursts out from his fist to meet the blood-red giant claw. Boom! The giant claw instantly shattered under Zhong Lin's powerful body, but Zhong Lin's fist still didn't stop at all and blasted directly towards the intruder. Aha! A sound broke through the air. I saw a slender black shadow drawing towards Zhong Lin at an extremely fast speed. There is a faint spiritual energy surrounding it. Zhong Lin raised his eyebrows slightly. Faced with this blow, he was forced to cancel the attack on Chen Yuan. Turning around to attack the black figure, he didn't want to be slapped like this for no reason. Although with his physical strength, such a blow wouldn't cause much harm, but he didn't want to suffer a loss. Each one of them only knows some dirty tricks. What a clown. On the left palm, there is a true dragon pattern faintly emerging. There is no spiritual power fluctuation. He just uses his powerful body to grab the long whip. There are dark runes on the long whip, exuding a cold aura. Snort. Feeling the attack of the long whip, Zhonglin couldn't help but have a sneer on his face. Facing this long whip, Zhonglin grabbed it forcefully in his hand. The long whip was held in Zhonglin's hand. After the long whip was pinched by Zhonglin, Zhonglu's eyes flashed with horror. Here, what kind of monster is this? Receiving spiritual soldiers with bare hands. Chen Yuan, Zhonglu, Duluki. Holding Zhonglu's long whip in his hand to prevent him from taking it back, Zhonglin looked at the three figures standing over there and said, "You just came in and you can't wait to attack me." The people who attacked him were the three people who didn't like him. In the main hall, Chen Yuan, Zhonglu, and Duluki formed a triangle shape, surrounding Zhonglin in the middle. The strength of the three of them is at the peak of the third level of Tianshuan. In the distance, Barreau was searching for something in the hall alone, completely unconcerned with the situation on their side. Looking at the three of them, Zhonglin's eyes flashed with a hint of ridicule. "Come, let me see your strength. Don't let me down." Zhonglin let go of the long whip in his left palm, looked at the three people, and sneered. 1 against 3, although their level was higher than his, Zhonglin didn't think they could win against him. Snort. Hearing Zhonglin's provocation, a flash of anger flashed across Duluki's face. He snorted coldly and rushed towards Zhonglin. They are among the best geniuses in their clan. Now, being so humiliated, one can imagine the anger in his heart. Die. Dragon palm. Spiritual power filled his body, and with one palm strike, a huge palm print appeared in front of Duluki, and he suppressed it towards Zhonglin. Well done. Facing Duluki's attack, Zhonglin still refused to dodge or dodge. With his strong physical support and his already powerful physical skills, Zhonglin was not afraid of Daruchi's threat at all. In his opinion, even the three of them may not be able to break through his defense. With one punch, Zhonglin's body expanded explosively. Boom! Wherever the fist wind passed, the void shook. In Duluki's horrified eyes, Zhonglin's punch hit him directly in the chest. Crack! There was a sound of bone cracking, and with a crisp cracking sound, Duluki's body flew out and fell heavily to the ground. And a deep pit appeared on his chest. If it weren't for the powerful physical body of the Earth Dragon clan, I'm afraid this punch would be enough to kill him. Duluki climbed up from the ground with difficulty, a look of shock on his face. One punch, just one punch defeated his offensive and his physical defense. This battle happened in the blink of an eye and was over. Zhonglin, complete victory. So strong. The incomparable pain coming from his chest was so real that he stared at Zhonglin with fear on his face, not daring to say a word. In front of Zhonglin, he was like an ant, with no room for resistance. Chen Yuan, Zhonglu. Chen Yuan, you should know that Long Ku was injured by me. Today, I will use the same tactics against you. Zhonglin's tone was calm, without any fluctuations, as if he didn't care at all about what happened just now. Chen Yuan and Zhonglu looked at each other, and both saw a hint of panic in each other's pupils. What is the concept of defeating Daruchi with one move? Even they can't do it. Chen Yuan took a deep breath and looked at Zhonglin with fear in his eyes. But the matter has come to this, and it is impossible for them to stop at this time. And even if they want to stop, Zhonglin probably won't let them go. Thinking of this, the two of them looked at each other and understood the determination in each other's eyes. Superior, Chen Yuan shouted loudly, and his figure suddenly rushed out, turning into an afterimage. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Zhonglin, and struck Zhonglin's head with a palm. Duluki followed closely and slapped Zhonglin on the chest. Zhonglin glanced at them indifferently. His spiritual power was running, and the clothes on his body made a hunting sound under the strong wind. His right foot suddenly kicked the ground, and he rushed towards Chen Yuan like an arrow from the string. Piss off! With a punch thrown out, Zhonglin punched Chen Yuan directly in the chest. A surging spiritual power burst out, and ripples spread out from around his fist. Bang! A pale color suddenly appeared on Chen Yuan's face, his body trembled violently, and he quickly retreated. His mouth opened wide, with a look of horror on his face. How can this be? His attack fell on Zhonglin like raindrops hitting a steel plate, but it was unable to shake Zhonglin at all. His blow was impossible to cause any damage. He is at the peak of the 3rd level of Tianshuan. But now, he was easily defeated by a guy who had just entered Tianshuan. Zhonglu on the side also looked like he had seen a ghost. One move, another move. First, he defeated Du Luqi with one move, and now he defeated Chen Yuan with one move. At this time, Zhonglu hesitated. When Zhonglin looked at him again, he felt a tremor all over and took a few steps back involuntarily. His face was full of panic and he said nothing. Lunar. Zhonglin's body was like a ghost, and his figure instantly appeared in front of Du Luqi. A pair of sword fingers quickly enlarged in Zhonglu's pupils. No, Zhonglu's pupils suddenly dilated, and his face was full of panic. Zhonglin's speed was so fast that he didn't even have a chance to resist. PFF'd. Blood spurted out, and Zhonglu's body flew out instantly, falling heavily to the ground with a dull sound. The same position on the shoulder was pierced by Zhonglin's Tien finger, and the entire shoulder collapsed. Blood surged and screams continued. 1 against 3, Zhonglin only made 3 moves. One move at a time. Monster. In the distance, Zhonglin's moves were reflected in Barreau's eyes, making her beautiful face full of surprise. Zhonglin's strength is very strong. She knew this, but she didn't expect it to be so strong. 1 against 3, at the 1st level of Tianshuan, he defeated 3 peak Tianshuan 3rd level in a row, and they were all killed instantly with one blow. With this kind of strength, even the most talented people she has ever seen cannot do this. I'm afraid, Zhonglin's combat power is far more than that. It's over, it's time to start the Hualong Pond. Bu Ru walked forward, glanced at Zhonglu and the 3 of them briefly, and said lightly. Bu Ru didn't take it seriously about the injuries of the 3 of them. Hualong Pond. Seeing Bu Ru step forward and hearing her words, Zhonglin also restrained his thoughts and stared at Bu Ru solemnly. The next second, Zhonglin noticed something strange around him. Strangely, the spiritual energy around him gathered at an astonishing speed. On the pillars, those beads as big as millstones gradually bloomed with a dazzling red light, illuminating the entire hall in red. It's about to begin. As soon as Barreau finished speaking, a sacred dragon head suddenly appeared in front of the hall. 5 golden lights spurted out and flew towards the 5 of them. Don't resist. Zhonglin watched the 5 golden lights flying towards him, one of which shot towards him. The next second, golden light entered the body, and the 5 people disappeared in the hall instantly. Is this the Hualong Pond? It can't be described as spectacular. Zhonglin stood there alone, looking at the magnificent and huge buildings around him, his eyes filled with wonder. 9 huge dragon head sculptures surround the place. Surrounded by Kowloon, it is majestic. The sculptures of all the beasts above are worshipping here, with a majestic and lifelike look, as if there are really all the beasts, and the atmosphere is solemn and solemn. Hualong Pond. Below the 9 dragon head, there is a huge pool. The water in the pool is extremely red, as scarlet as blood. No, the dragon's blood is originally in the Hualong Pond, and the color of the blood is also the color of blood. However, the dragon's blood in the pool at this moment did not emit the bloody smell that blood should have. Instead, it emitted a refreshing fragrance, which seemed particularly weird. We have to seize the 7 days. Zhonglin stood on the dragon head sculpture, looked at the dragon transformation pond below, and jumped in. His movements were extremely crisp and without any sense of sloppiness. After jumping into the dragon pond, Zhonglin felt a huge wave of heat rushing towards his face. The suffocating high temperature made him frown. So hot, he secretly shouted, and his body immediately started to use the technique, and the Zhu Sun Heavenly Fire Sutra was running crazily. As Zhonglin entered the Hualong Pond, the calm dragon blood in the Hualong Pond suddenly boiled. High temperature, scorching high temperature spread out from the pool water and swept across all directions. Zhonglin's body was like a bottomless pit, frantically absorbing the huge energy contained in the dragon's blood. Too horrible. Zhonglin sighed secretly, his expression becoming increasingly ugly. He only felt as if he was in magma, and every inch of his body seemed to be burning. The pain, the searing pain, made Zhonglin grit his teeth. Dragon scales appeared on the body surface, shining with a bright luster. Even the true dragon pattern on his arm became clearer. No wonder old man Long Wu asked him to carefully absorb the dragon blood in the dragon transformation pond. It turned out that the energy contained in the dragon blood was so violent that it was like burning flames. Even though he has such a powerful body, he still feels extremely painful here. Zhang Lin felt that the bones and tendons all over his body were cracking bit by bit, and it seemed that they would be shattered in the next second. Broken, and then relying on his powerful healing power, it keeps going back and forth. Broken, healed, broken again, healed again. Time and time again, he kept repeating the cycle. Pain, endless pain, made him endure endless torture. However, under this repeated torture, his willpower became stronger and stronger. The true dragon pattern on his left arm is also slowly spreading towards his shoulder, seeming to be integrated into his left arm. 9 transformations of blood dragon. Zhang Lin shouted low, and a golden light appeared on his body, covering him. Eventually it turned into a giant golden cocoon, protecting him within it. Slowly sinking towards the depths of Hualong Pond. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. He lurked all the way to the bottom of the pool. At the same time, the 9 dragon head sculptures above seemed to have undergone some unusual changes. The originally petrified eyes slowly opened, with golden light shining in them, full of mystery and vicissitudes of life. Julong's first mouth also spurted out endless red dragon blood into the dragon transformation pond. Immediately, the water in Hualong Pond began to boil crazily, turning into billowing heat waves. Bottom of the pool. A giant golden cocoon lay quietly at the bottom of the pool. Silks of dragon blood penetrated through the giant cocoon, constantly tempering Zhang Lin's body and blood. On the giant cocoon, Zhang Lin could be vaguely seen inside. 2 horns and 4 claws, curled up there. I don't know how long has passed. The giant cocoon sunk at the bottom of the Hualong Pond had a slight change at this moment. A tiny crack appeared on the surface of the golden cocoon. Then, the cracks became more and more numerous and denser. At the last step, the violent dragon's blood rushed in with a loud bang. The golden cocoon burst instantly. The golden light flourishes. A vast and sacred aura also spread out from inside. Ding, you absorbed the dragon's blood. The blood dragon's 9th transformation has reached a breakthrough, and its bloodline has been transformed. Congratulations to the host for evolving into a pure-blooded celestial dragon. At the bottom of the pool, a figure huddled there, motionless. The jet-black body is covered with scales, has 2 horns, 4 claws, and its eyes are closed, like a sculpture. The hot and violent dragon blood cannot shake him at this moment. Call. A gust of wind blew by, and Zhang Lin slowly opened his eyes, with a terrifying light flashing in his eyes. Dark golden pupils shone with golden brilliance. The bloodline of a pure-blooded dragon is expected. Feeling the changes in himself at this time, Zhang Lin couldn't help but grin. After all, he has a drop of the essence and blood of the heavenly dragon in his body. After such a long time, his bloodline has also been subtly changing towards the heavenly flood dragon. When he arrived here, he was stimulated by the dragon blood in the dragon transformation pond, and his bloodline was completely transformed into the bloodline of the heavenly dragon. 3rd level of Tianshuan, breaking through 2 realms in a row. In terms of cultivation, Zhang Lin had broken through 2 realms in a row from the 1st level of Tianshuan to the 3rd level of Tianshuan. After transforming into a human form, the true dragon pattern on his left arm was now completely covered in his left arm. This also represents another breakthrough in his physical body. The benefits have already been obtained. If we stay here any longer, we won't get much effect. The scorching dragon's blood that originally made him feel pain did not cause him any pain at this moment. As soon as his figure moved, he appeared above the Hualong Pond. This place is really amazing. As long as this place remains, it will be able to cultivate many geniuses for the Tianlong clan. Zhang Lin looked around and murmured to himself. The dragon blood in the dragon transformation pond can not only transform blood, but also improve physical fitness and strength. Looking at the changed 9 dragon head, Zhang Lin couldn't help but fly over curiously. The pupils of the sculpture, which exuded golden light, turned slightly spiritually and looked towards Zhang Lin. This shocked Zhang Lin, who had just approached, and quickly took a few steps back, staring warily at the 9 dragon head in front of him. The pupils of the 9 dragon head seemed to be alive, shining with a faint light. Alive, or dead? Zhang Lin was filled with doubts. The eyes of these 9 dragon head sculptures actually have spirituality. Observing carefully, he looked carefully and saw that there was no unusual behavior in the nine dragon's head. Then he breathed a sigh of relief, and then carefully approached the nine dragon head sculpture. What a strange nine dragon head. He sighed at the weirdness of the nine dragon head. Zhang Lin continued to approach. Buzz. Suddenly, an inexplicable fluctuation came from the nine dragon head. It's over. Swept by the wave, Zhang Lin fell into a coma instantly, and his body fell towards the Hualong pond below. He didn't know what was happening to him. He only felt that his eyelids were extremely heavy and he wanted to open them but couldn't. The body fell into the dragon transformation pond, causing a huge splash of water. Gululu. Zhang Lin sank to the bottom of the pool. The body is unconscious and unable to use any power. At this time, it was as if his body and soul were separated. What he could feel was that he was sinking. It sank very quickly and gradually approached the bottom of the pool. But no matter how hard he drove, his physical body could not control his body from falling downwards. What happened? The soul and the body suddenly separated. With his soul, Zhang Lin watched helplessly as his body fell towards the bottom of the pool. Controlling the body of the soul, he moved closer to the physical body below, trying to control his own body. However, his spiritual body was unable to connect with his physical body at all. Zhang Lin was a little confused and looked at the scene in front of him in confusion. He touched the nine dragons sculpture. Why did it become like this? Old man Long Wu never told him that such a situation existed. What should I do? The soul and body are separated and cannot be united. All this is the fault of the Kowloon head sculpture. Zhang Lin's face became uncertain as he thought that it was all the fault of the Kowloon show sculpture that he became like this. At that moment, Zhang Lin also flew towards the Kowloon head above. He wanted to see what was going on. However, as soon as he came out of Hualong Pond, Zhang Lin was stunned by the scene in front of him. Golden Dragon. A huge golden dragon. No, it should be said to be the golden dragon shadow. A huge golden dragon phantom appeared on the nine dragon heads, lying on the dragon head sculpture. The golden dragon's eyes flashed with cold light, overlooking the river and forest below. The body is 100 feet tall, and the huge body is entangled on the dragon head sculpture, like a majestic mountain, majestic and domineering. Golden dragon scales are spread all over the body, emitting a golden brilliance. The huge tail swung, kicking up dust all over the sky. Zhang Lin raised his eyes and looked upward, and could only see the cold light in the eyes of the dragon above. Forehead. Zhang Lin felt the pressure from the golden dragon and did not dare to make any random movements for a while. If he had a physical body, with his strong physical body, he would dare to be a little more arrogant. But now, with his body at the bottom of the pool and only his soul, he did not dare to make the slightest move for fear of angering the golden dragon in front of him. It would be tragic if the soul was accidentally swallowed by this golden dragon. What is this golden dragon? Zhang Lin's spiritual body was also a little shocked when he saw the appearance of this golden dragon. Everything that happened now seemed different from what he knew. The golden dragon moved. The huge body slowly rose into the air, looking down at the young man in front of him. A low roar came from the golden dragon's mouth. The dragon sound resounded throughout the Hualong Pond. Zhang Lin only felt a pain in his ears, as if a blade was directly inserted into his soul. The severe pain made his head almost explode. Hiss. Zhang Lin couldn't help but gasp, and his body suddenly fell back dozens of meters. The golden dragon's voice made him tremble with fear. Zhang Lin's spiritual body felt the terrifying oppression and trembled all over. Miscalculated. If I had known this, I wouldn't have been so cruel. Zhang Lin regretted it now. If he had known this would happen, he shouldn't have touched the nine dragon's head with such shamelessness. It's okay now. The golden dragon suddenly appeared and his soul was severely damaged when he screamed. If he slapped his paw, wouldn't it tear his soul into pieces? Zhang Lin's heart tightened and he quickly hid towards the other side of Hualong Pond. He really didn't dare to be careless about the golden dragon in front of him. Unexpectedly, when Zhang Lin just hid aside, hoping that the golden dragon would not come over, the golden dragon seemed to have heard his words and walked straight towards him. The distance between the two is getting closer and closer. Zhang Lin's heart was pounding, and a sense of death crisis instantly filled his body. No, am I going to die young now? Under Zhang Lin's horrified gaze, the golden dragon lowered his head slightly. In its mouth, a golden bead appeared. This bead has a light golden color all over, with a golden luster flowing on it. Dragon Ball. When the bead first appeared, these two words suddenly appeared in Zhong Lin's mind. Next, under Zhong Lin's shocked eyes, the Dragon Ball flew towards him. With this golden dragon in front of him, he didn't dare to move. He could only watch the Dragon Ball enter his body. Seeing the golden Dragon Ball entering Zhong Lin's body, the golden dragon turned around and disappeared. Zhong Lin's spiritual consciousness scanned around and found no trace of the golden dragon. Obviously, he has really left. After relaxing, Zhong Lin checked his body. The golden dragon just got a Dragon Ball into his body. It's here, however, it seems that there is nothing abnormal for the time being. When his spiritual consciousness entered his body, he instantly discovered the Dragon Ball that suddenly appeared in his body. The Dragon Ball was floating quietly inside his body. Nothing out of the ordinary. Zhong Lin tentatively used the power of the soul to test the Dragon Ball, but was blocked. I should be able to return to my physical body now, right? After the golden dragon disappeared, the 9-dragon head also returned to its previous appearance. Its spirituality disappeared and it turned back into a sculpture. Even dragon blood no longer spits out from their mouths. Zhong Lin feels that by this time, he should be able to return to his physical body. Thinking like this, Zhong Lin's soul entered the dragon transformation pond again and looked for his body. Soon, his soul found his physical body. It should be okay, right? Standing next to the flesh body, Zhong Lin was also a little nervous. Taking a deep breath, Zhong Lin tentatively united his soul and body. This time, when his soul touched his body, there was finally a slight connection. Then, in an instant, the soul and body merged perfectly, and Zhong Lin's body returned to its normal state. I finally recovered. This Hualong Pond and the others are really weird. Feeling the physical body, Zhong Lin also felt a sense of fear in his heart. His spirit was still too fragile. The golden dragon just screamed, and his soul almost collapsed. Okay, I finally came back safely. Feeling the physical body, Zhong Lin was secretly grateful in his heart. Now, he just wants to pass these 7 days and leave here. There is no alternation of sun and moon in Hualong Pond. Zhong Lin didn't know how long had passed. Since the golden dragon disappeared, nothing strange has happened in the Hualong Pond. Zhong Lin, on the other hand, seemed a little leisurely, soaking in the dragon's blood in Hualong Pond and tinkering with the Dragon Ball in his body. The effect that the dragon's blood brought to him gradually became weaker after his bloodline transformed into the bloodline of the heavenly dragon. Although it is still improving, it no longer has the terrifying effect it had before. It can only be said that it has become minimal now. On the contrary, Zhong Lin couldn't shake the Dragon Ball at all, whether he used spiritual power or divine soul power. It was like it was rooted in his dantian. No matter how Zhong Lin urged it, it didn't work. Fortunately for Zhong Lin, although he could not move the Dragon Ball, there was nothing abnormal at all. Hey, I don't know if this thing is good or bad inside my body. While soaking in the Hualong Pond, Zhong Lin leaned against the wall, feeling helpless. There are no advantages, and the disadvantages have not yet been realized. However, he could feel that this Dragon Ball contained powerful energy. You must know that each Dragon Ball embodies the essence of the Dragon Clan. The terrifying energy contained in it was definitely beyond his imagination. However, this Dragon Ball is not of use to him at all. As the 7 days up, suddenly, a vortex appeared above the 9 dragon heads of Hualong Pond. It was exactly the same vortex that the Great Elder and the others started when he came in. It seems that the 7 days are over. Zhong Lin took one last look here, then stood up and left the Hualong Pond, flying towards the whirlpool. Without any hesitation, after such a series of things, Zhong Lin just wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. When Zhong Lin was about to step into the whirlpool, he turned his head slightly and looked at the Hualong Pond with his peripheral vision, as if he felt something in his heart. But he just saw a flash of golden light and quickly disappeared. Zhong Lin suddenly had some idea in his mind, his body shuddered a little, and he quickly stepped into the whirlpool and disappeared. Boy Zhong, you were the last one to come out. As soon as he walked out of the whirlpool, Zhong Lin heard the familiar voice of old man Long Wu. How's it going? It's a good harvest, right? Zhang Lin turned his head to look in the direction of old man Long Wu and nodded towards him. Fortunately, I live up to my fate. Looking at the elders, Dragon King and others around him, Zhang Lin also smiled slightly. Dragon King Long Yao looked Zhang Lin up and down, smiled at Zhang Lin, and praised. The third level of Tianxuan is at the peak, not bad, breaking through 2 levels in a row. It seems like your boy has benefited the most. Several elders nearby also looked at Zhang Lin. They could all feel that Zhang Lin's body had undergone earth-shaking changes before entering the Hualong Pond and now after he left the Hualong Pond. On the surface, Zhang Lin has broken through to the third level of Tianxuan, but the benefits gained from it may not stop there. Okay, good. Old man Long Wu stepped forward, patted Zhang Lin on the shoulder, and said with a smile on his face, "Young man Zhang, that's right, you didn't embarrass me." Then look at Chen Yuan and Zhang Lu who came out early. Although Chen Yuan, Zhang Lu, and Du Luqi had broken through from the third level of Tianxuan to the peak of the fourth level of Tianxuan, they could all see it, and the 3 of them also got some benefits. Far inferior to Zhang Lin. What surprised Zhang Lin was that Bu Ru, an unknown woman, actually broke through to the 5th level of Tianxuan, and her aura was extremely stable. Now that we have come out of Hualong Pond, we will be able to stabilize ourselves during this period of time. Long Yao smiled when he saw that they all got good benefits. Especially Zhang Lin, they were a little surprised. He took a deep look at Zhang Lin, then turned around and left with a few people. On the top of Hualong Mountain, only Zhang Lin and old man Long Wu were left. The little girl Long Yu was also taken away by her father Long Yao. Come in a hurry, go in a hurry. How's it going, Mr. Zhang? I'm not lying to you. Hualong Pond is really a place where people can be reborn. Old man Long Wu looked Zhang Lin up and down, and he kept praising him. Hearing what old man Long Wu said, Zhang Lin looked at old man Long Wu with a strange look. What have I been through, you know? Thinking back on everything I experienced in Hualong Pond, I still feel a little palpitated. Until now, he still has a dragon ball in his body that is unknown to good or bad. Of course, he would not tell others what he had experienced. His special experiences were completely different from ordinary people's experiences of entering Hualong Pond. This is also equivalent to his little secret, which cannot be revealed casually. Old man, don't forget what you promised me. Looking at Hualong Mountain, Zhang Lin suddenly said. The gravity here is a good place to practice. His true dragon pattern has been completed on his left arm, his bloodline, and his realm have also been improved, and his physique has also increased accordingly. However, the gravity here is still somewhat helpful to him. At the same time, after experiencing the golden dragon's breath, he also became more focused on the cultivation of the soul. In one breath, his soul almost exploded. He didn't want to experience this kind of thing again. The improvement of spirit, body, and cultivation is indispensable. How can I lie to you? Go ahead and stay as long as you want. If you have anything to say, tell me. My token can protect you. After observing Zhang Lin's changes, old man Long Wu naturally understood what he meant when he heard Zhang Lin's words. He also rolled his eyes at him, and old man Long Wu cursed with a smile. However, just do your best. The gravity of Hualong Mountain reaches the peak of a king. After half a saint, it is useless. Zhang Lin nodded in response, and disappeared in a flash. Looking at Zhang Lin's leaving figure, old man Long Wu nodded with a smile. Little guy, I hope you won't disappoint me too much. You can rest assured about Mr. Zhang. I don't know how much progress he can make in 10 years. It's time for me to prepare the necessary things. Old man Long Wu stood in the small courtyard, looking in the direction of Hualong Mountain. As if he saw Zhang Lin practicing on Hualong Mountain, he thought of something and murmured in a low voice, you still have to pay something. Qingyan Holy Land, Virgin Peak. Suddenly a powerful aura rose into the sky and swept across the entire Saintess Peak. Then there was an angry questioning voice, Master, what did you say? Zhang Lin went to Tianlong Star. I do not know how. Hualong Mountain. On the mountainside, Zhang Lin seemed not to be affected by the gravity of Hualong Mountain, and was still moving upward rapidly. His speed was extremely fast, and the gravity around him also increased a lot, but to Zhang Lin, it didn't matter. Not long after, Lin stopped somewhere. 7 days ago, I stopped here. Standing here, Lin looked ahead calmly. 7 days ago, he persisted until here and was stopped by old man Long Wu. At that time, he was almost reaching his limit and could no longer hold on. But now, after he came out of the Hualong pond, he felt the gravity here. Not only did his face not have any strange color, but he felt like a fish in water. He felt comfortable physically and mentally, and his whole body was filled with an incomparable surge of energy, strength. Get up from where you fell. Lin planned to use this place as a starting point and continue climbing towards the top of the mountain. Of course, although it was impossible to reach the top, what he had to do was to hone his physical body. Mountain climbing. Lin took steps towards the top of the mountain and started walking. The gravity on his body became heavier and heavier, and his steps became heavier. As he went higher, Lin took one step at a time. Every time he took a step, a crack would appear on the floor. Every time he took a step, his soles would leave deep marks on the ground. However, his face did not show any embarrassment, but instead showed a look of excitement. What a terrifying gravity! The terrifying gravity pressed on his body, making his bones crackle at this moment. There was a constant ringing all over his body, as if his bones were about to break at any moment. It was like carrying a sacred mountain on his back, weighing heavily on Lin's body, making it difficult for him to breathe. At this point, Lin stopped and stopped going up. Carrying the huge gravity, he began to practice true dragon body refining. The real dragon pattern vaguely appeared on his body, and then turned into a real dragon. Dragon scales were faintly shining on Lin's skin, looking ferocious and mighty. True dragon body refining means cultivating the 9 true dragon patterns, and only after the 9 dragons are unified into one can it be considered complete. At this time, he had already cultivated a true dragon pattern in the Hualong pond. The second true dragon mark is still being nurtured on his body and has just begun. Crackling. There were thunderous roars in his muscles and bones, causing Lin's expression to change slightly and his body to tremble. Carrying the pain from his body, Lin assumed 8 other weird postures one after another. There were 9 movements in total, but just practicing these 9 different movements 3 times made him sweat profusely and almost collapse. The muscles and bones seemed to be about to burst, and there was severe pain. But every time he finished practicing, he could feel that the gravity he endured would weaken a little. This also means that his physical body has become stronger. It hurts so much. Lin lay on the ground, breathing heavily, his face covered with sweat. His body was dripping with sweat and his clothes were already soaked. Brother Zhang. Suddenly, Lin, who was lying on the ground, felt someone calling his name softly. When he looked up, he saw a petite figure running over in the distance. It was that little girl Long Yu. Seeing Long Yu, Lin couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. Xiao Yuer, why are you here? Lin sat up with some difficulty and looked at Xiao Long Yu who was running towards him and asked. Brother Zhang, are you okay? Long Yu looked at him with a worried look and asked. Seeing Lin's tired look, Xiao Long Yu couldn't help but stretched out his hand and touched Lin's forehead. Don't worry, brother is fine. But Xiao Long Yu, you haven't told your brother yet, why are you here? Seeing Long Yu's worried look, Lin also smiled. Grandpa Wu asked someone to bring this to you. After seeing that Lin was really fine, Long Yu also remembered his true purpose of coming here. He hurriedly took out a small porcelain bottle from the space ring and handed it to him, explaining to Lin. This is. Looking at the small porcelain bottle in Long Yu's hand with confusion, Lin couldn't help but ask after smelling the fragrant medicinal fragrance. This is the soul-enhancing pill that 5th grandpa asked 2nd grandpa for. I remember it was sweet and tasted delicious. Seeing Lin's confused expression, Xiao Long Yu also started to explain. I don't know if it was because he recalled the taste of the soul-enhancing pill, but Xiao Long Yu couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. And looking at Long Yu's appearance, it was obvious that Long Yu had taken this soul-enhancing pill before. Soul-enhancing pill. Okay, brother, I'll accept it. Xiao Long Yu, please go back quickly. If it's too late, the Dragon King will look for you again. Reaching out and rubbing Long Yu's little head, Lin also gave her instructions. Don't rub it, it will mess up other people's hair. Long Yu stretched out his hand to cover his head, as if he was afraid of being rubbed by Zhong Lin anymore. You still dislike it, leave now. Zhong Lin couldn't help but laugh and curse. Then a top-quality spiritual fruit was found from the space ring and stuffed into Long Yu's hand. Long Yu held the top-quality spiritual fruit in his little hand and suddenly laughed happily. Xiaoyuer, go back quickly, don't let the Dragon King find you. Zhong Lin urged. Long Yu nodded, twisted his little head, and quickly disappeared from Zhong Lin's sight. Seeing this scene, Zhong Lin couldn't help but laugh, this little girl. Soul-enhancing pill. Old man Long Wu is quite thoughtful. He just wants to strengthen his soul, so here comes this soul-enhancing pill. Looking at the small porcelain bottle in his hand, Zhong Lin's eyes sparkled. This soul-enhancing pill is just right for him now. 10 soul-enhancing pills are enough. As soon as I opened the porcelain bottle, a strong medicinal fragrance hit my face. It shocked him. Each round and plump pill exudes a charming fragrance. Taking out a soul-enhancing pill, Zhong Lin put it into his mouth without hesitation. Melts in your mouth. As the elixir slipped into his belly, Zhong Lin felt a warm current spreading in his belly, quickly permeating his whole body, making him feel very comfortable. Especially the soul. With the help of this soul-enhancing pill, he could feel that his soul was growing stronger. A sense of emptiness filled his soul, making him feel extremely peaceful, as if he was floating in the clouds. And the senses seemed to be sharper. At the same time, he did not forget to run the 9-yang soul refining technique, to draw the power of the sun to temper the soul. The fragile soul was nourished, grew stronger bit by bit, and became stronger and tougher. The soul is getting stronger. But it's not enough. Not enough. Night. After arriving, Zhong Lin sat cross-legged on the ground. The halo around his body continued to surge, and waves of light enveloped him. It was the power of Tien that was drawn by Zhong Lin, constantly tempering his body. Tien body tempering technique uses the power of Tien to temper the body at night, and the effect is even more excellent. Bang! In the distance, an earth-shaking loud noise came, deafening, like thunder from the sky. Zhong Lin suddenly opened his eyes flashed, and he stood up instantly. Looking into the distance, Zhong Lin's eyes showed solemnity. This sound didn't seem to come from a fight. With the protection of Old Man Long Wu's token, he controlled the formation of Hualong Mountain to cancel the gravity acting on him. The figure quickly swept towards the source of the sound, and in that direction, the fire was soaring into the sky. The scope of the fire was huge, several thousand meters wide, illuminating the entire area. What happened? Seeing this scene, Zhong Lin also frowned. He remembered that there seemed to be many villages there. With the flames soaring into the sky, could something have happened? As Zhong Lin gradually approached the fire, he vaguely seemed to hear the sound of joy again. Although the sound is noisy, you can still hear the joy in it. This is. When he got closer, Zhong Lin could clearly see what was happening here. 6. All the surrounding villages were lit with fires, and the bonfires were blazing, and there was a scene of joy, as if a celebration ceremony was being held. Boys and girls gathered together, playing and having fun. Everyone's face was filled with joy. Moreover, it seemed that there was more than what he saw. Seeing this, Zhong Lin also had a look of surprise on his face. Is this the dragon version of a blind date? Yes, he saw many brave girls, as well as shy girls. Brother Zhong. Standing in midair, a childish voice suddenly reached Zhong Lin's ears. Zhong Lin was startled and followed the sound. I saw Long Yu lying there in an attic in the distance, looking at him with a smile. Stretching out his little hands and waving, Long Yu shouted with a smile, Brother Zhong, come here quickly. Seeing Xiao Long Yu there, Zhong Lin was slightly startled, and then flew towards that direction with a smile. Xiao Long Yu, is this a blind date? Standing next to Long Yu, looking at the handsome men and women below from the attic, Zhong Lin also had a smile on his face. Yes, these brothers and sisters are on a blind date. I'm so envious. Long Yu lay there, looking at the girls below who were gradually finding their favorite people, with a look of envy on his face. Xiao Long Yu, you are still young now, but you will definitely be able to find a handsome and powerful Taoist companion in the future. Hearing this, Zhong Lin also touched Xiao Long Yu's head and smiled. There are also human beings on Tianlong Star, and there are even a lot of them in number, but they are not as strong as those Tianlongs. Moreover, the two parties have lived together on Tianlong Star for who knows how many thousands of years, and they have long been harmonious with each other. A handsome, powerful Taoist monk. Really? When Long Yu heard Zhang Lin's words, he raised his head and looked at him, with a hint of hope in his eyes. Of course it's true. You are our little princess. Gently rubbing Long Yu's soft hair, the corners of Zhang Lin's mouth curled up slightly. A sweet smile finally appeared on the little girl's face, and then she lay on the window again, looking into the distance. Then I must grow up quickly. I will definitely find a handsome, powerful man in the future. It's like, thinking of this, a blush appeared on Long Yu's little face, making her look very delicate. I don't know what I'm imagining. Zhang Lin looked down. He discovered that there were not only humans but also some dragons in the crowd. A blind date is quite interesting. Zhang Lin looked at those people with a faint curve on his lips. He remembered an old friend. The stunning figure slowly emerged in her mind. I don't know what she is doing now. Unconsciously, I have been away from her for more than half a month. Thinking of this, Zhang Lin felt a little sad and nostalgic deep in his heart. Brother Zhang, that senior brother in the attic has a Taoist companion. Long Yu's childish voice sounded, pulling him back from his thoughts. But before he could hear what she said clearly, another crisp voice came from the attic. They both looked down and saw a young and beautiful girl standing there. The girl is wearing a pink skirt, with a graceful figure and snow-white skin. Her black and straight black hair hangs down on her waist, which highlights her exquisite and delicate body. A delicate melon seed face, under willow-shaped eyebrows, a pair of beautiful eyes that are smart and moving, shining like black gems with a charming luster. A small mouth is red and tender, delicate and charming, and every frown and smile is full of the innocence of a girl. Moreover, his cultivation level also has the strength of the 8th level of enlightenment. It's pretty good around here. Girl, me, yes, brother Zhang already has a Taoist partner. As soon as Zhang Lin opened his mouth, he was about to reject the woman below, but he didn't say anything yet. Xiao Longyu beside him spoke first, interrupting Zhang Lin's words. A pair of big, watery eyes stared at the girl below, blinking, looking very endearing. But the way he looked at the woman was a bit hostile, even a bit wary. That's a little girl's presumption. Looking at the little girl with a hostile look on her face, the woman seemed a little embarrassed, with a blush on her face, and then she quickly clasped her fists and bowed, apologizing to Zhang Lin. After saying that, he quickly walked away. Looking at the back of the woman escaping in a hurry, Zhang Lin shook his head helplessly. In other words, you little girl, how do you know if I have a Taoist companion? Long Yu's bulging cheeks are round and fleshy. Zhang Lin couldn't help but stretched out his hand to pinch his pink face and asked with a smile. Brother Zhang, do you have any Taoist companions? This time, Long Yu didn't slap Zhang Lin's dishonest hand away, but looked at him and asked. Ha ha ha, but it really doesn't happen. Zhang Lin also smiled heartily. It's true not yet, but it won't necessarily be the case in the future. I thought secretly in my heart. Does brother Zhang like that woman just now? Hearing Zhang Lin say that he didn't have a Taoist partner yet, Long Yu's eyes lit up even more. Don't like it, and she is not as cute as our Xiao Longyu, right? After hearing Zhang Lin's words, Long Yu, who had been looking up at Zhang Lin, his eyes instantly turned into star eyes, and nodded with a smile. Children are so easily satisfied. Seeing the little girl's expression, Zhang Lin couldn't help but smile. Suddenly, Zhang Lin seemed to find a familiar figure in the crowd. But when I think about her strength and identity, she probably won't come here. The figure from behind also seemed to notice Zhang Lin's gaze, and immediately turned around and looked in the direction of Zhang Lin. How can it be? Seeing that familiar figure, Zhang Lin couldn't help but be startled, with an unbelievable surprise on his face. Hey, it's Sister Burrow. Xiao Longyu also discovered the beautiful figure opposite, and a touch of surprise appeared on his face. Brother Zhang, Sister Burrow are here too. No, doesn't Sister Burrow have a Taoist companion? Why are you here? The next second, Long Yu, who had become smarter, suddenly frowned. He seemed to have thought of something and couldn't help but look at Zhang Lin and said. Does Bu Ru have a Taoist partner? This time it was Zhang Lin's turn to be surprised. He didn't expect that Bu Ru would have a Taoist companion so early. Long Yu nodded, and then waved in Bu Ru's direction as a greeting. Bu Ru also discovered Zhang Lin and Long Yu in the attic in the distance. Looking at Zhang Lin, her beautiful eyes also showed surprise, but she soon regained her composure. The two looked at each other and nodded to each other as a greeting. After all, they didn't know each other very well, and they hadn't spoken a few words. The bonfire lasted for 3 days. Zhang Lin also had a rare 3 days of rest. Every day, that little girl Long Yu keeps driving her crazy here and there. It was quite a happy life. By the 4th day, Zhang Lin, who had been decadent for 3 days, felt that he could no longer be decadent. Back to Hualong Mountain again. Commonly known as retreat. This close. That's half a year. Snowflakes falling. Heavy snow covered the entire world. Hualong Mountain has long been covered with snow, and everything is covered in silver. This day, exit. There is a snowman covered with snow in Hualong Mountain. Suddenly a low shout came from it. Wow! A powerful momentum burst out from the snowman's body and shot into the sky, causing the snowflakes to fly. The snow covering his body also fell away. Zhang Lin opened his eyes, and his eyes were like 2 dazzling stars. There seems to be endless coercion and edge in it. There are also golden flames beating, and there is a vague pressure that fills the air. 3 true dragon patterns. Zhang Lin slowly stood up, the bones on his body made a slight crackling sound, and his figure gradually grew taller. On his body, there are 3 true dragon patterns faintly appearing, exuding coercion from time to time. Over the past 6 months, he has continued to hone his body and temper his soul. Moreover, Old Man Long Wu also had the soul-enhancing pills sent by the little girl Long Yu from time to time, which made his soul improve by more than 1 level again in the past 6 months. During the True Dragon body refining, he also cultivated 3 True Dragon marks, and his physical body became much stronger. It's been half a year, it's time to get out of isolation completely. After half a year of hard work in seclusion, Zhang Lin's realm has not improved significantly, but if he really underestimates his current strength, I am afraid it will definitely be someone else who suffers the big loss. The fact that his realm has not improved does not mean that his strength has not increased at all. His physical body alone, at the 5th level of the ordinary Sky Profound realm, was unable to break through his defense. At the 6th level of Tianshuan, Zhang Lin is also confident that he will win the battle. Even if he is killed, he is confident. At the 7th level of Tianshuan, it depends on the strength of the person. He can defeat the weak. The strong are not sure. But even like this, Zhang Lin's true combat power is also very terrifying. The 3rd level of Tianshuan can reverse the 6th level of Tianshuan. I haven't seen Old Man Long Wu for a long time, and I don't know how he is doing. In the past 6 months, he has never gone down the mountain, and Old Man Long Wu has never gone up the mountain. I just heard from the girl Long Yu who went up the mountain from time to time that Old Man Long Wu had been very busy in the past 6 months. He had to go out from time to time, and he didn't know what he was busy with. Wulong Mountain. It is also covered with snow. There were cheerful sounds of playing in the small yard, as well as screams from time to time. In the center of the yard, a girl was grabbing the snow on the ground, clenching it into a ball, turning it into a snowball, and throwing it towards the old man not far away. This old man is Long Wu. The snowball was thrown on him and exploded, causing white snow to fly and making him miserable. Look at Grandpa. Old Man Long Wu was not annoyed. Instead, like a child, he also grabbed a snowball and threw it towards the girl Long Yu. Cannot hit. Ha ha ha. Facing the snowballs thrown towards him, Long Yu dodged to the side, laughing non-stop, looking particularly happy. Old Man Long Wu was also chasing her. Snowballs flew back and forth between the two, and the fight was particularly intense. Suddenly, a huge snowball flew from behind Old Man Long Wu and hit him. The unprepared Old Man Long Wu was immediately hit by the huge snowball. His whole body was covered in snow, which made him look particularly funny. Ha ha ha, good, good. Long Yu looked at the 5th grandfather who was hit by the snowball, clapped his hands and shouted excitedly. You brat, your skin is itchy just after you came back. With a dark face, old man Long Wu turned around and saw Zhang Lin standing there, and immediately became furious. This brat, after not seeing him for half a year, is getting more and more naughty. Brother Zhang. At this time, Long Yu also noticed Zhang Lin's sudden appearance, and quickly ran over and threw himself into Zhang Lin's arms. Zhang Lin rubbed her head lovingly. It's been half a year, and I'm finally ready to leave. Yes, it seems that those pills were not in vain. Old man Long Wu looked at Zhang Lin, secretly surprised. It had only been half a year, and he felt it the most deeply. There is a huge difference between Zhang Lin now and him half a year ago. It's only been half a year. Of course, the stronger Zhang Lin is, the better it is for them. The plan to fight for Longzi will also be smoother. Next, your most important thing is to improve your cultivation. In 2 years, the girl's brother Long Jiyu will also come back. Old man Long Wu said, his expression a little solemn. Long Jiyu, Zhang Lin competes for the biggest obstacle on Longzi's path. Longgu, I know. Zhang Lin was slightly startled when he heard that Long Jiyu would be back in 2 years. Then nodded. Now he is not Long Gu's opponent. 2 years. Hit him. Brother Zhang, help me beat that stinky brother. Hit him. Brother Zhang, help me beat that stinky brother. As soon as he heard old man Long Wu mention Long Gu's name, Long Yu, who was lying in Zhang Lin's arms, stretched out his fist and shouted angrily. Okay, wait for brother Zhang to avenge you and let you beat him up. Zhang Lin patted Long Yu's head and said with a smile. What a pair, enemies and siblings. There's still a long way to go. Old man Long Wu looked at the two of them, stroked his beard and sighed. By the way, I went back to Qingyan Holy Land some time ago and met that girl Qingyao. Suddenly, old man Long Wu's words caused Zhang Lin, who was holding Long Yu up and down, to stop. A pair of eyes looked closely at old man Long Wu, looking forward to his next post. And Long Yu in his arms stopped when he saw Zhang Lin's movements, and looked at him doubtfully. Just now, she also heard the word Qingyao. Is there any relationship between Zhang Lin and Qingyao? Who is Qingyao? Why did brother Zhang stop when he heard the name Qingyao? Could it be? Long Yu also looked at fifth grandpa, wanting to know more about Qingyao. That girl Qingyao is lucky. She is now at the 9th level of Tianshuan. It's not far from the king's realm. Old man Long Wu waved his hand, and all the snow in the courtyard flew away and disappeared. There was no longer any flying snow falling in the entire courtyard. Any snow falling will disappear in the sky. It was like the entire courtyard was shrouded in a protective shield. As he spoke, without noticing Long Yu's angry, murderous gaze, old man Long Wu lay down on the recliner again, picked up the wine bottle, took a sip of wine, and continued. In the Tianyan secret realm, she also got great benefits. It's just a pity that I didn't get the emperor's inheritance and the emperor's weapons. It's a bit of a pity. After putting down Long Yu, Zhang Lin also stepped forward and listened carefully to Qingyao's current situation. The benefits are definitely indispensable. As for the inheritance of the emperor and the emperor's weapons, as long as people are fine, everything else must be there sometimes in life. Don't force it in life when there is no time. In his opinion, it would be best as long as Qingyao is safe. The inheritance of the emperor's weapons, these things may be extremely precious and attractive to ordinary people, but to him, no matter how valuable they are not as important as a single hair of Qingyao. You guys are quite open-minded. Although I didn't get the emperor's inheritance and the emperor's weapons, others didn't get them either, so it's pretty good. When I met Qingyao, she also asked me about your situation. I mean, that means you are in retreat and making great progress, so she doesn't have to worry about it. Zhang Lin nodded and agreed with what old man Long Wu did. That's right, brother Zhang, is this sister Qingyao your Taoist companion? Below, Long Yu tugged on Zhang Lin's sleeves, raised his head, and asked curiously. She remembered that brother Zhang told him half a year ago that he had no Taoist companions. Not yet, but maybe in the future. Looking at Long Yu's innocent, cute and playful face, Zhang Lin rubbed her little head and said softly. Oh. After hearing Zhang Lin's answer, Long Yu's eyes lit up and rolled around, not knowing what he was planning. Boy Zhang, this is for you. That girl Qingyao asked me to bring it back to you. Suddenly, old man Long Wu threw a jade pendant towards Zhang Lin. The jade pendant is crystal clear, with a green lotus carved on it, lifelike and very beautiful. This is. Zhang Lin was stunned. He looked at the jade pendant in his hand with confusion and looked at old man Long Wu. The picture stone contains what she wanted to say to you, as well as the projection. I'll let you watch alone then. Old man Long Wu stroked his gray beard and curled his lips, obviously dissatisfied with Qingyao's move. Picture stone. After listening to old man Long Wu's explanation, Zhang Lin put the jade pendant away directly. Qingyao must have a purpose in letting him watch alone. Since he wouldn't let them see it, he wouldn't let old man Long Wu see it either. By the way, there is another question. Old man, you haven't given it to me for so long, and you're only giving it to me now. Have you seen it before? Zhang Lin stared at old man Long Wu with questioning eyes. Old man Long Wu suddenly blushed and became thick-necked. Boy, do you think I would do such a dirty thing? Zhang Lin nodded. Not only him, but Long Yu on the side also looked at old man Long Wu with that contemptuous look. Not necessarily. It's not like Grandpa Wu has never done this kind of thing before. Long Yu's words immediately made old man Long Wu so angry that he almost vomited blood. Go, go, go. Old man Long Wu waved his hand angrily, driving Zhang Lin and Long Yu away like flies. This brat dares to slander me, I must teach him a lesson. Sitting on the recliner angrily, looking at the backs of Zhang Lin and Long Yu, old man Long Wu looked slightly angry. Night. In Zhang Lin's room, he sat cross-legged on the bed, and the aura fluctuations around him gradually became thicker. Image stone. What words will Qingyao leave for me? Xie Qingyao's appearance appeared in his mind, and a smile appeared on Zhang Lin's lips. We haven't seen each other for half a year, and today I finally got news about her. Holding the photo stone given to him by the old man Long Wu in his hand, he also felt inexplicably looking forward to it. There are even some who can't wait to use the photo stone. Zhang Lin looked at the image stone expectantly and poured some spiritual power into it. Moment. The image stone bloomed with a faint light, illuminating his room. The image stone broke away from his hand and floated in midair. In front of him, a stunning silhouette was slowly projected from the shadow stone. Wearing a long white dress, a strand of black hair hanging down, and an alluring face, she was standing quietly in midair, looking ahead. She just stood there, like a fairy descending from the sky. Her beauty was breathtaking. Zhang Lin looked at this familiar figure and couldn't help but curl up the corners of his mouth. His heart seemed to be touched. Qingyao, long time no see. The beautiful figure suspended in midair looked in front of her, as if she saw Zhang Lin, and slightly raised the corners of her mouth, revealing a charming smile. A jade hand slowly stretched out and waved gently towards Zhang Lin in front of him. Zhang Lin also stepped forward, wanting to remember the person in front of him deeply in his mind. Long time no see, Alan. After all, you have been away for 3 months, and I don't know how you are doing. Qingyao's projection was in the void, smiling at Zhang Lin. That smile was like the spring breeze blowing through Zhang Lin's heart. Warm, soft, sweet. It's not a few months, it's been half a year. Although he knew Qingyao couldn't hear him, Zhang Lin still said it. Stretching out his hand, he wanted to touch the ethereal figure in front of him. However, just when he was about to touch Qingyao, his fingers penetrated her. Why? Zhang Lin sighed and took back his hand, with a disappointed expression on his face. He really wanted to touch Qingyao again and feel the tenderness. Unfortunately, this is just a projection, not real. Alan, I heard from Elder Long that you have to stay on Tianlong Star for 10 years. 10 years, a long time. Qingyao's projection was still looking at Zhang Lin with a smile. There were too many things in that smile. Do you know, when I knew you left, my heart always felt empty. As she spoke, Qingyao put her jade hand on her chest and murmured softly. I am really scared. Listening to Qingyao's soft murmur, Zhang Lin's heart twitched violently. Qingyao, wait for me. I'll go back when I get the stuff. Zhang Lin thought silently in his heart. I don't know how long has passed. After Qingyao's projection finished speaking, it turned into a stream of light and re-entered the image stone. The image stone also fell from midair, causing Zhang Lin to quickly reach out and grab it easily. Why? Looking at the photo stone, Zhang Lin heard Qingyao talk about a lot of things that night, some gossip, some trivial things. There are also some things she experienced in Tianyan's secret realm. He sighed deeply and kept the image stone. Zhang Lin looked at the night scene outside the window, feeling a sense of loss in his heart. Brother Zhang, it turns out you like Sister Qingyao. Suddenly, a clear children's voice sounded, startling Zhang Lin. Turning around, he saw Long Yu, who had appeared under the bed at some point, looking at him with a gossipy face. Xiao Long Yu, why are you here with me? When did you come in? Pulling Long Yu out from under his bed, Zhang Lin looked at her in surprise and asked. At the same time, his heart was full of shock. He didn't realize there was anyone else in the room. Also, if Long Yu has been hiding under the bed, doesn't it mean that she overheard all the things that happened just now? Thinking of this, Zhang Lin couldn't help but shudder, the hairs all over his body stood up, and he felt a little scared. The gaze he looked at Long Yu was a little more vigilant and guarded. This little girl is amazing. Hee. Exposed. Long Yu, who was grabbed by the back collar of his clothes, also scratched his head in embarrassment. Tell me, when did you come in? Why didn't I find it? Zhang Lin frowned and asked in a deep voice. Long Yu looked at Zhang Lin's displeased look, and his face was a little aggrieved. Then he grabbed a jade pendant from his waist and handed it to Zhang Lin. Well, because of this. This jade pendant can hide my aura so that others cannot detect me. Brother Zhang, just forgive me. Please, please. Stretching out his hands, he grabbed Zhang Lin's sleeves and shook them. There was a hint of crying in Long Yu's voice, and his eyes became red, as if he was about to cry. Zhang Lin was stunned for a moment, glanced at the jade pendant, and then looked at Long Yu, who was about to cry in front of him. In the end, he could only shake his head helplessly. A small child. Why, I'll just keep the things, and you're not allowed to do this again. Did you hear me? Zhang Lin put away Long Yu's jade pendant, and his tone couldn't help but become a little more serious. Long Yu nodded with red eyes. I know. Okay, go back to your room. There is also a room for the girl Long Yu in this small courtyard. After all, this saves her from running around every day. For a long time, Long Yu lived here with old man Long Wu. Oh, with his head drooped, he looked back at Zhang Lin 3 times step by step, and finally walked out reluctantly. When he was at the door, Long Yu's eyes kept scanning around, and finally stopped at Zhang Lin. What are you looking at? Get out quickly. Also, you can't tell anyone what happened today. Did you hear me? Zhang Lin glared at Long Yu fiercely, looking threatening. It's so disgusting. Unexpectedly, Long Yu at the door suddenly stuck out his tongue, made a face at Zhang Lin, and then said with a look of disgust. Dragon language. Zhang Lin shouted. Long Yu covered his mouth and ran out of his room. Rubbing his forehead in slight distress, Zhang Lin shook his head. He should be careful in the future. Eccentric. This time, the society is really dead. Zhang Lin felt so embarrassed when he thought that what he said to Qingyao's projection was overheard by that little girl Long Yu. Especially if that girl couldn't keep her mouth shut and told others, wouldn't it be embarrassing? Distracted thoughts were flying in his heart, and Zhang Lin's expression changed back and forth. No matter, I hope that girl can keep her mouth shut. After finally calming down the distracting thoughts in his heart, Zhang Lin took a deep breath. I didn't have any thoughts on practicing tonight, so I just lay on the bed, closed my eyes, and gradually fell asleep. In his dream, he dreamed of Qingyao, Brother Zhang, come and play with me. Holding the snowball in his hand, he threw it at Zhang Lin, who was sitting on the recliner. No time, I'm resting. Lying on the recliner, Zhang Lin didn't even open his eyes, but with a slight movement of his fingers, the snowball deflected and hit old man Long Wu. Humph, brat. Old man Long Wu naturally noticed the snowball flying towards him. As soon as he opened his mouth, the snowball melted and disappeared instantly. Brother Zhang, are you really not going to play with me? Fifth grandpa is the same. He doesn't play with others anymore. He's so annoying. When Long Wu saw Zhang Lin ignoring her, he immediately pouted and said coquettishly. Zhang Lin just shook his head, unmoved. This girl is so good. However, it was not impossible for Long Yu to let Zhang Lin play with her. She was so eccentric that she just rolled her eyes and thought of a good idea. It was impossible for Zhang Lin to refuse, so he had to play with her. Jogging all the way, he came to Zhang Lin's side. Then he stood up on tiptoe and leaned close to Zhong Lin's ear. Brother Zhong, you don't want others to know about that, right? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.